Podcast League now. Starring the Casablanca Kid. He turns good taste into bad. Movie hero. He has a stutter, but he's smooth like butter. And Pez, with the ability to Pez.
Let's see. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 2 of Podcast League Now. So I want to give a little shout out to Q for the music there. He's a really awesome YouTuber that does some amazing video game remixes. So I want to give the credit. He came up with the song for our intro, and he letting us use it. So we appreciate that.
Do you have the nname of our voiceover artist that did our voiceover? Because we didn't shout him out last time either.
We did not.
No, I don't have it with me. So I'll have it ready by the 3rd episode, and
yeah, we got to give him a shout because he absolutely nailed our intro.
Our voiceover is amazing.
He killed it. Yeah, we got to give him some credit on the next episode.
You definitely want to give him some love for sure. Yeah, but yeah. So I am Jordan Movie Hero Anderson, and then I'll introduce our 2 other cohorts that are my usual co-hosts for the night. Austin Pez, how you doing?
What's up? My giggle juice of the evening is Bitburger, Deutsches Bier, as featured in X-Men First Class when Michael Fassbender goes Nazi hunting. So that's my choice of beer this evening. So bottoms up and a cheers to everyone.
Nice.
I got my exciting sparkling ice. Fruit punch flavor.
Casablanca Kid. Yeah. Nice. And I got my real scuffed up pair of sunglasses, so I'm probably not going to wear them the whole episode, but it's like kind of hard to see, but it's fine because I like this laid back kind of look, so I'm going with it. But yeah, so we'll just kind of jump into it. So I'm actually going to pull them off. Already,
you got to pull them off so you can see your notes, dude. Can't do notes.
Gotta do it. Some
flair, really dramatic. Right? You got to do like the old Jim Gaffigan bit where he goes, the only reason to wear sunglasses in movies is to pull them off, and you put it in your mouth and you go, my God, what's going on? Right? I found the truth. Oh, this tastes like wax.
So, yeah, just for fun, I want to try to kick things off with a little get-to-know-you thing. So each episode, you'll learn just a little bit more about each other, but the whole episode is basically a get to know you. This is like a specific question I'm gonna have at the beginning of each episode. So for me, I don't know. Well, for those who know me well, I have a thing when it comes to smells. Like I don't know what it is, but I like when things smell good. I have this aversion to people that smell bad. Like I don't like being around people that smell too much like BO. It's one thing if you're playing basketball or wrestling or sports or like whatever it is, that's fine. But if you're just walking around all day long and you just reek, like that's a huge turnoff, especially
if you go to the Comic-Con and you smell the Comic-Con smell because of all the people who do not know how to shower before they put their costume on and put deodorant on to prevent the smell. This is not that difficult, people. Shower before you go, put your costume on, put some deodorant on, spray a little cologne if you have to, then go to the show. This isn't that difficult.
Right.
Let's go.
Well, it's like one thing, especially like if I'm with a girl and when I'm leaning in for the kiss and then I get a whiff of like some nasty odor, I'll be like, no, not happening. Sorry.
Man,
like you got.
If I had $928 for every time that happened to me.
Right. But yeah, we'll just go around though. We'll just talk about some of our favorite smells and some of our least favorite smells. So for me, I'll kick it off. My favorite smells are really anything fruity. Like I just like especially on a girl too. Like if they're wearing perfume, that definitely has that like citrusy kind of smell. I like that. I love the smell fabric
I love
softener.
the girls that smell like tangerines. It's the best.
Yeah,
Tangerines.
A mango, good mango girl.
Mango.
But there's that, and then I love the smell of fabric softener, and then pretty much any like fresh baked food. I mean, you could name anything: cookies, pie, cake, pizza, really anything.
I
So
eat a lot of peaches.
I'm not one. Yeah, right. But I'm not one of those weirdos that like loves to smell like gas. I know some people like really like the smell of gas, and when you're like driven to the gas station, like it's okay. It's not like
good.
It's not repulsive to me. But I know the weird people that like have those kind of like weird, like they just like those kind of smells. They're like huffing like permanent markers or weird stuff like that. You know?
Yeah, those are the people who want to kill their own brain cells when they do it, because that's what it does. Yeah. Morons.
But we'll just go over it real quick. I mean, I kind of mentioned mine. I mean, well, actually, so for smells that I don't like, I already mentioned like BO smell. I don't like. Well, I don't like bad smells. Period. It doesn't matter. Like skunk smell, trash smell, rotting food, any of that stuff. You know, there's like a little hint of it. Like so, like in the trash. Like if the trash is only like a quarter of the way full, and I smell something bad, that trash is going out. I'm sorry. Like I can't just leave it. So, but do you guys have any? We'll throw it to Chris. Like, do you have any like favorite smells or least favorite?
Favorite smell? Let's see. Popcorn, absolutely. I love popcorn. But on the other hand, though, if it like burnt popcorn smells absolutely fucking disgusting. It's horrible.
Oh yeah. I've been there from working at the movie theater. Like every once in a while, well, someone not dump the like popcorn oil when it beeps, like you're supposed to do it when it beeps, or even if you can catch it right before, like that's when it's like perfect. But yeah.
But yeah, I love popcorn. Let's see, I love funnel cake. I love the smell of funnel cakes, dude. I'm so excited for the fair to return, man.
Right? Yeah.
Amazing fair food.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, we should make Jordan eat a thing of deep fried butter for the podcast.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Smooth,
because that's a thing
butter.
at a state fair. For some reason, everything is deep fried. I have had deep fried Oreos, which are pretty good. It depends on what it is. Yeah, like
deep fried Oreos,
like candy bars and things. The deep fried, but like the deep fried, like they have like deep fried Coca-Cola. I don't even know how that's. How do you deep fry liquid? I don't understand how that works.
You can deep fry ice cream,
but I
too,
almost want to say like we all should, just like for a little like clip thing, all of us should try some like deep fried object or deep fried thing at the fair and post about it.
I'd be down for that.
As soon as they bring them back here, like there's one that happens every year, but we'll see if it this year. We might have to wait till next year. We'll see. I don't know. It depends on the state, really. We have Governor Roy Cooper in North Carolina, who's an asshole. So he's not as caught up as the Florida people are.
Yeah, we're not doing fairs in Washington either. I can't even remember the name of our governor off the top of my head, but I can't stand him. So, but they're having the Western Idaho Fair is the biggest one in Idaho. So I might be going over to Idaho for that. Maybe we'll see.
I have been to the Texas State Fair in Dallas, which is the biggest one in the country. They do it outside the Cotton Bowl. I've been there because I have a lot of family in Dallas, and it was like probably 15 years ago. But it's the biggest one, literally, like size wise. It's huge. Like it takes you a whole day to walk around.
That's so cool.
But you can literally see everything there. They have every kind of food you could possibly want to have there. I mean, I know people that Brad Jones, like from the on the Nostalgia Critics channel, he just had a whole video where he went around, because he does all those Brad Tries videos, and he just went around the Illinois State Fair like one year and just tried like a little bit of everything, And of course, it's all just food that's terrible for you and horrible for you, but but that's the point of the fair. It's like when you go on a cruise, you're going to gain 10 pounds on a cruise. You're just going to eat terrible food at a fair. Nothing's going to be good for you. They don't sell salads at the fair. That's what they do.
Let's see. I love the smell of
deep fried
apple pie.
Right?
Oh my gosh, apple pie is amazing. I love the smell of fresh baked bread.
Yep.
Let's see.
Good stuff.
So things I don't like. I hate the smell of kombucha. I hate the smell of spoiled milk. Dude, there's nothing like
Oh yeah.
like I'm being
yeah.
excited to maybe to have like a glass of milk in the morning and not really paying attention to it, pouring yourself out a glass
Pop that thing up and you smell it.
and then just taking a drink and then you're just like,
It's like chunky milk that comes out in like chunks.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the smell of good coffee, but at the same time there can be bad coffee too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one that I forgot to mention. Is that
Rockstar energy drinks, the original.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that I forgot to mention is that I also love the smell of coffee grounds. Even though I don't really drink that much coffee, I love coffee grounds. Like I love to take the big thing of like Folgers or like Death Wish, the like really strong stuff, and just like put my face right up to it and just take a huge whiff of it. Like, yes, that's the stuff. So
when
yeah,
I was back in when I lived back in Jacksonville, to go downtown, I would take this bridge, and the bridge would go. The road that would go into downtown would pass the Maxwell House factory. So you would drive by it, and for about 10 seconds, you could just smell coffee. You know, it just hit you right in the face. And it's funny because I don't drink coffee, but I like the smell of when they were brewing, you know, everything at the Maxwell House place. Like it smells really good. And then I hate the actual taste of it. So go figure, right?
Yeah, right. I'm kind of the same way, but I do love coffee ice cream for some reason. I don't really drink coffee, but I like coffee ice cream. That's good stuff. But Austin, what about you? Do you have any?
All right, so I've got two like pretty universal ones, and then one, oddly enough, from Universal Studios specifically, and I'll tell you in a second. Okay. So it's a very specific one. But first is when I make barbecue ribs in the oven or in the crock pot, like they smell phenomenal the way I do it. Like it just, the whole house smells like fresh barbecue, and it's amazing. I know, Chris, you said you love barbecue, so it's
I love
amazing.
Barbecue. I'm salivating at the thought of that.
Oh yeah, man. When you cook it like 4 hours in the oven or something, man, just like cover it up in the little aluminum foil, and you just finally release it to the house. It's just like, oh, it's a heavenly barbecue smell around the place. I like any kind of, my favorite like scented candles or anything vanilla. So vanilla candles are like the best. Because they smell like cupcakes or something. Like it's ridiculous. I don't know why they smell really good. And I don't go for like the traditional bread or like baked goods because I work in a grocery store, so I smell it every morning, so it doesn't really affect me anymore. But the most specific one I alluded to was at Universal Studios. It's hard to describe. There's a smell when you get in the line for the E.T. ride, when you enter the forest. Like, and Jordan, if we ever go to Universal like next year, like we've been talking about, you'll know what I'm talking about when you finally get there. Because it's like, apparently I did some research on it really quick before we started. It's like a custom pine smell that this company called Scent Air put out just for that, and they never made it again. And that's why it's so unique. So like, I when I looked it up, E.T. the ride smell, when I Googled it, there was like Reddit threads. I was like, I'm not the only one, right? Like, it's a thing. And people were like, yeah, I don't know what it is, but it smells amazing in there. And I don't know what it is, but it's the most unique one that every time I'm just like, yeah, I'm on the ride again. That's great. so yeah, it's hard to describe, like, unless you've been there, like what it smells like. And it smells like a fresh forest kind of a thing. It's great.
I've been on the ET ride like way back in the 90s when they actually used to have it at the Universal Studios in California. So I've been on that one. That ride's no longer there.
They still have it in Florida. They still have it
in Florida. One in Florida as a kid, and I remember riding it and being blown away. Like that ride kind of freaked me out because like you're riding that bike and it feels real.
Right. Yeah.
I love like old school animatronics and shit, like this, which is why I love that ride. Like all those old school rides that aren't there anymore.
Ride scared the shit out of me as a kid.
King Kong, that ride had a unique smell too. That's kind of lingering in the new Mummy ride they have there, but like it's just not the same. Like that ride also used to have like a distinct smell to it. Again, I know it's an odd topic, but like all these rides had a unique smell when they were inside.
So like I remember that, and also the Back to the Future ride was too. I love that back in the day. Yeah. But
they still have the studio tour ride, like you were saying. So it's like part of the King Kong, but it has like Jaws coming at you, and like you're in the like.
It's only in California. They don't have that in Florida. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to talk about theme parks someday because one of my passions is theme parks. I love theme parks.
Same.
And there's even a podcast I listen to called Podcast The Ride that what's his name from he used to go on Screen Junkies a lot, like what's his name, Star, like Mike Star, whatever his name is. That he does, and it's literally all they talk about is different theme park rides. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's this guy that I like to watch named Mr. Cheesy Pop. So he mostly goes to like Disney theme parks all over the world, but he will go to like a Six Flags or Universal and stuff on occasion. But like he just has this like childlike wonder when he's like going on like all the different rides. He's like, it's so amazing, so beautiful, guys. Come along with me for this ride with me. Come on. And like he always like seems like Mr. Rogers going on these rides, but it's pretty fun to watch though.
Hey,
so yeah. But yeah, so I wanted to just jump in. Speaking of favorite things, so I just kind of wanted to just get into some of our biggest passions in life and just kind of talk about them. So like they could be like some of our favorite things we like to do, some of like things we've collected. I know we each have some certain interests. I'm a huge basketball fan. I know Austin, you are a huge wrestling fan, so you have a lot of experience there. I know Chris is really into like books and classic cinema, writing, all that kind of stuff. So I figured we could just go around and just share some of the things about our biggest passions. So you went the last time, Austin. I don't know if you want to kick it off for us this time.
Yeah, it's fine. So as far as like the wrestling thing goes, yeah, like when I started reffing, like I had always had a passion for wrestling, and it probably came from the fact that I wasn't allowed to watch it till I was like 15, and I had to kind of sneak my way into watching, WWF or WCW during the Monday Night Wars, and try to like watch it when I can, or if I happen to be at a friend's house, try to watch it there or whatever, or just get caught up. Basically, once I did, I had to go back and do my research, but so now I'm very familiar with everything. I've gone back and watched almost everything from both the companies, and but when I started doing it and I had an opportunity to jump in and start reffing, it was one of those things where like people asked me like, well, why didn't you want to be a wrestler? And I was like, well, I don't think I could. I don't have the cardio for that. Like I would get blown up like immediately is what the term they use. I just can't do it. I was like, I wanted to be close to it, but like not as a wrestler. And I was like, what about a referee? Like I don't have to have that kind of cardio, like still a little bit, but like I don't have to remember 8,000 moves. I can be right there. I have the stature for it because I'm a little shorter. I'm 5'6", so I can make the wrestlers look bigger, standing next to them, and still be a part of it, but not be the central focus. And so that's kind of what I did. And when I started looking at the guys, like two of my favorite referees of all time. One guy was from the WWE. His name's Mike Chioda, who's like one of my favorites, who I used to watch a lot. And Charles Robinson, who a lot of people might recognize. He kind of looked like Ric Flair. He had like the long white hair, and they called him Little H. And he was in WCW, and then he was in WWE. So those were my two favorites that I looked at and kind of studied when I got into it. And then Dagan Briggs, who's still one of my best friends to this day, was one of the guys who trained me and then took me on the road and introduced me to a lot of people and helped me get a lot of jobs. So the two things I have with me to kind of show today, and for anybody listening, I'm wearing my actual ref shirt that I wear when I do referee today on the podcast. Nice. So I have here, this is a DVD, the very first wrestling show I ever did, All Aggression Pro, and it was in Jacksonville. And basically the concept of this company that Dagan kind of started was they teamed up with not an MMA company, but they did like submission grappling, right? So it's basically like wrestling, jiu-jitsu kind of stuff, but they would do it in a wrestling ring because we just had to use a wrestling ring. And so in between the submission grappling matches, we did pro wrestling matches. And so the crowd, who was mostly there for the grappling, like family and friends of like the people doing those things, got really into the wrestling because it was different from the other stuff, because we'd be hitting each other and slamming each other and chopping each other and all that kind of stuff. They get really into it. So it was kind of a unique concept that we bounced back and forth. Nice. Now I have to make a confession. I've never gone back and actually watched my matches because this is I don't want to know. Well, it's one of those things where like most wrestlers go like, oh, I don't want to go back and watch my first match because you know how terrible you probably were. Like, I don't want to go and watch this to see like all the mistakes I was making, how out of position I probably was, just like when you're very first one. Like I remember distinctly my first
cringe.
match, like going out there. Yeah, I don't want to relive that. Like I remember it in my head, but I don't want to actually watch it and see how bad I was. But I do have this. I will keep this forever because this is the very first show I ever did back in 2006. So I have that, and then. I was talking about how I have a similar story about sort of like how me and Jordan met online, where he just put out a call for the SNL show, and I just kind of answered him and said, "Hey, I'm a huge SNL fan. Yeah, we should do like this show together or whatever. Like, or can you give me a chance?" Like, I did kind of the same thing where I met a guy named Oliver who lives over in the UK, and he would just write these reviews for these Ring of Honor matches, and I used to comment a lot on him because he was a really good writer, and we kind of became online friends. We actually did a meetup on my 21st birthday. I went over to England and we met up to go see some shows together.
Nice.
And we had to communicate through like 2 actual phone calls and then emails. That's all we had because we couldn't even really do text messages because this was like before everybody had like a cell phone that could do text or limited, or we couldn't do like international text messages or like even Facebook messaging was spotty. But he's gone on to write several wrestling books. And one of them I have right here is called A Fan's Perspective, and it's about British wrestling. He has a whole chapter talking about our meetup, or our 2 meetups, I should say. So I'm in his book because he talks about I met him in England, and we hung out, and we actually stayed at the hotel that all the wrestlers are staying at, and I made some more contacts, and that kind of helped me. Then he actually flew over for WrestleMania 24, which was in Orlando. So I met him in Orlando and kind of showed him around Florida and, you know, got hotels and everything. So he got to come over. So he wrote a chapter kind of about those travels and kind of included me in the book. So shout out to Oliver Newman. He's a great wrestling author. If you want to look up his books online. But we still chat occasionally. He's a good friend. And I just thought it was kind of an interesting story because it's kind of similar to the way we started kind of conversing, Jordan, and kind of I got into this community. It was all online.
Definitely. Right on.
Mm-hmm.
So now, have you met a lot of like big time wrestlers then? Like, I imagine that you met quite a few, probably, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I talked about a few who guys who are in WWE now, Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins, like I've worked shows with those guys, and a few other ones here and there. As far as like old school legend guys, it's not as many as you'd think there would be because they only work shows occasionally or do appearances. But like I said, I ref matches with Jake the Snake and Jerry Lawler and Abdullah the Butcher.
That's cool.
Guys like that. I haven't done like ref their matches, but I mean, I've met like Sergeant Slaughter. I've met, like Scott Steiner. I've met Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Teddy Long and some of these other guys that are fairly well known. Like I've done shows with them, but not exactly like
school.
Or anything. Yeah, old school. So yeah, but it's always fun to hear their stories and their takes on the business, and it's especially good to get a compliment. There was a guy named Ron Bass who was kind of a Florida legend who passed away a few years ago, and he came to one of our shows because it was a tournament honoring this very old school guy named Don Curtis. And we do a tournament down in Jacksonville every year to kind of honor him. And he sat there and watched the show, and he just said, "You're a good ref." And it was a quick compliment, but I was like, okay, if I can get a compliment from an old school guy that you're a good ref, like, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Even if it's just a quick, like,
absolutely.
Thing, so, I'll take it anytime. But yeah, it's
definitely.
I talked about last time how the best compliment you can get in wrestling is if the wrestlers come up to you and want you to do their match. Like that's one of the biggest compliments you can get is that they trust you, because there's a lot that goes into it. But but I've always taken that as one of my highest, biggest highs you can get from the business is going out there and knowing that the guys trust you.
Yeah, for sure. Because I always try to encourage people to watch professional wrestling because there's a lot of people that like I think that they kind of view it as that kind of like this redneck kind of white trash sport, just a bunch of guys like are just kind of like I don't know, like these kind of white trash guys just going and like hitting each other with chairs or like whatever it is. But there's so much more to it because I kind of thought that way kind of early on, so like I never really got into it till about like the mid '90s, and like I was a huge fan during the Attitude Era. My best friend Doug, who passed away, he was huge. he was a huge Goldberg fan. That was his favorite wrestler, so we would always watch all those matches. I became a huge Rey Mysterio Jr. fan, so like I was a huge fan of like all those guys from that era, and so yeah, like Triple H, Undertaker, like just like all those guys. So yeah, that's the era that I mostly watch. But I'll tune in for like some of the big events, some of the WrestleManias, and some of like the bigger things that they do. I always love the like cage matches or like the Royal Rumbles. Those are always fun too. So
yeah, I don't watch it as much as I used to, only because when you have been in the business as long as I have and you understand the psychology of it, it's kind of hard to watch it because I know exactly where every match is going for the most part, maybe other than the finish. Like I can literally break down for you how a tag team match works. You know, like the formula of one, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it starts with this and it goes to this and this, like how a traditional one works. So I kind of know the beats of what's going on, or I can kind of see where they're going. But that's also part of being a referee is you have to understand the psychology of what the guys are doing. You have to actually predict what they're going to do. Like obviously if they're backing up to like this rope or this corner, they're going to be doing something. So I need to be over here and I need to be over here. So like it's a lot more involved than people probably think it is. You know, I'm not just standing there on the side waiting for something to happen. Like I'm an active participant as well. Yeah. And I have to be even more active sometimes because a lot of times I only...
You just cut out. You froze.
Oh, yeah. I thought maybe it was just on my end. Might be a little frozen, but you can still hear me, Chris, right?
Not at all. Yeah, I can still hear you. So, assuming he's obviously going to come back.
Oh yeah, I see it loading here, but
right. So I was going to kind of comment and say that kind of I had a similar experience with the wrestling myself. With, you know, I kind of thought, it's just professional wrestling, but then I kind of really got into it. A buddy of mine. David Stevenson really got me into it, and of course, really loved the Undertaker and those guys, and like, and also like,
yeah,
like
sorry, my internet bugged out for a second. I apologize.
How it wasn't just
it does
like,
it once a night,
like fake, and there were like legit stories, and like people actually got like hurt. I mean, like you got paid more money to get like your skull cut open.
Yeah.
Like the famous like Hell in a Cell match with the Undertaker and
Mick Foley.
Yeah, Mick Foley. Yeah, that whole match is just nuts. And like in the beginning, it's kind of crazy to me that like for instance, there was that famous match where they set up kind of like I don't want to say explosive, but kind of around the outside of the ring, and he used that fire actually. And of course, there was the famous one where he fell to his death. So, but it kind of blew my mind.
Wrestling can be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, and to anybody out there that is interested in it, or you know, I actively discourage people from trying to do things on their own. All this stuff with like, if you guys ever seen like those people doing backyard wrestling, you know, online, things like that, like it's incredibly dangerous if you're not trained. Like even as a referee, like I have to know what I'm doing, like in there, you know, when guys, you know, go after me and do what they call a ref bump, you know, where they have to hit me or slam me. Like it's fine because I've been properly trained by wrestlers. You know what I mean? I know what I'm doing, and it's like I'm almost like professional stuntmen. Like yes, there's stuff that hurts and it's real to a degree, but like we also kind of know what we're doing and know how to keep it safe, like relatively safe. You know, if you don't know what you're doing and you start hitting people with stuff, like you can seriously injure somebody if you don't know what
I
you're
remember goofing off with David and other people, like we would take chairs and hit one another with them.
Not a good idea if you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, I know. It definitely hurt like hell.
Because I've got videos of me. I've been thrown outside over the ropes, like to a table on the floor, and hurt me pretty badly. Like I mean, I've done stuff like that. I've been kicked full speed ahead by big dudes, like kicking me right in the face. Like I've been hit with chairs. I've been hit with garbage can lids, you know, all that stuff. Like I've been hit with stuff, and like there's a way to do it to where yes, it hurts, but like it won't kill you. You know what I mean? Like it won't seriously injure you.
Right,
but the problem is when people do it on and there's also little things you can do to protect yourself, and a lot of people don't understand that when they try to just. It's why they actively encourage people, like, or discourage people or whatever you want to call it, to not imitate what you do, because like And people who are in there doing it professionally know what they're doing. At least for the most part, there are some jokers out there that get in a ring and they still don't know what they're doing.
Oh
but,
yeah. So I
but
want
at
to
least
kind
the
of
people, but at least the people you see on like WWE or AEW, you know, whatever, professionally, those people know what they're doing. So like and they actively try to keep each other safe.
Yeah. So I had an amazing teacher. This is my last little point. And her son actually got into professional wrestling, and apparently got in the ring with Hulk Hogan. And of course, he wasn't prepared, or he didn't land right. Well, and Hulk Hogan dropped him on the ring, and he broke his arm.
Oh dang!
Yep.
Yeah, that'll happen because like these guys are not small guys. These are huge guys that like they really even shove you, and you're like flying across the ring. You know,
right?
So, it's crazy. But I do want to give a little shout out to. I think that's so awesome that we got Chris Jericho in the Schmodown, and he actually takes it serious too. So you'll see him pop up every once in a while. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, like he gets
really
too. Yeah,
he had a match with Kevin Smith. Yeah,
that is so fucking cool. So I actually saw Chris Jericho, of course, with his band perform live at Mayhem Fest.
Fozzy,
yeah,
nice.
With Fozzy,
that's awesome.
That was oh my gosh, that was amazing.
He does a
I have
cruise
his autograph.
every year. It's like a wrestling cruise, and I forget the actual name of it, but they're doing it again this year. Yeah, where he does like they actually do wrestling on like the Lido deck. You know what I mean? They'll set up a ring and do like wrestling shows.
Wow.
And then they also have he brings a selection of like his favorite bands along with his own band, Fozzy, obviously, and they perform throughout the cruise as well. So like I think it's called like Rock and Wrestling or something, Rock and Wrestling Cruise.
That's cool.
So they'll do like a mix of concerts and wrestling shows, but he runs the cruise every year. I think they've done it 3 or 4 times now. It's pretty cool. I want to go on it at some point. Yeah, I want to try it out at some point.
Yeah. Well, we'll throw it over to Chris if you have some things you want to share, some collectibles, some books, some things.
I absolutely do.
Got. So yeah.
So I love to read, but the book series that really got me into reading is the Hardy Boys. This is without its slipcover, which are hard to find. This is the way the original Hardy Boy books look. And this one sadly doesn't have a dust jacket, which are really rare and hard to find. Years ago, there was an amazing bookstore that was closing in Nampa, Idaho, and I was very lucky to. Well, I asked. I said, "Hey, do you have a first edition of the Tower of Treasure?" That one is packed away, sadly, but it had its slipcover on there and everything. It wasn't exactly cheap. I think it was $250 or whatever. But it's still a first edition Hardy Boy book. Years later, I was sad, of course, to learn that as much as I wanted a Franklin W. Dixon autograph, Franklin W. Dixon is actually a conglomeration of writers.
Okay.
That got together to write books for basically people to help distract them from like the Great Depression and stuff.
Chris, I got a book you might be interested in. I'm gonna go grab it real quick, but keep talking, please. And I think you would find it fascinating. So I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, the Hardy Boys are like some of my favorite too. Like I grew up reading. I've probably read 6 or 7 Hardy Boys books. So,
I easily read like a whole bunch of these. The newer ones with like the other covers. Eventually, I would like to obviously get all of these. That's one of my goals, and I've since started picking up these ones in the traditional cover. Yeah,
I think I own some of the newer ones that had like the blue covers on them. So there's some of the more like 90s version, I would say.
And then the Hardy Books case files, I would like to own all those as well.
Oh yeah.
I've just always loved Hardy Boys, and of course, then there was Goosebumps for me, definitely an Animorphs. I remember as a kid, so I remember like religiously hurrying to the store, like to pick up the newest Goosebumps or the newest Animorphs.
There's a Fear Street Netflix series coming out, that other spin-off series, Fear Street.
Yeah. That'll be awesome.
Cannot wait.
So it should be good. Yeah.
So what were you going to kind of show us?
So I have, this is not a first edition because those are really hard to find, but we found, my grandfather passed this on to me. This is a second edition of War of the Worlds.
Okay.
What? That is
That's
amazing.
awesome.
So again, without any kind of covers, very old school. So it's not in like mint condition, but it's pretty damn cool. Like it's
What's the date on that
very
guy?
old. It doesn't have a date. It literally doesn't even have a
date?
copyright date. Doesn't even have a copyright date on the inside. No.
That's sad.
Yeah.
But that is so cool.
I don't even know that. But it's
That's
very,
H.G.
very
Wells,
school.
right? Is that
H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds? Yep.
Nice.
So it's
That's
it's
so
a cool
awesome.
book. Maybe I'll
That's
just gift this to you someday, Chris, and just send it to you because maybe you'll appreciate it a bit more than I will.
Freaking awesome. Yes. Yeah, definitely.
I think it might. I don't think it's like a first edition. I think it's some kind of reprint. But
that's all right, man.
It's probably like 80 years old though, like legit, like 80 or 90 years old. It's old.
Oh yeah, legit looks like it, especially like that art style and everything else. That's definitely not like, that's definitely
not
not
recent.
like
That's for sure. No, we found this. My grandfather had this like in his attic when he passed away. We were going through a lot of, and he had a bunch of these old comic books from like the 40s too, and it was all these like old school sci-fi comics. So it wasn't anything that was like worth a lot of money, but it was just fascinating, the type of comics, because it'd all be like Johnny and his robot, the adventures of you know what I mean, like just like these little like robot sci-fi,
and probably
the
like
comics.
a lot of the strange tales, probably
stuff like that. Yeah. So I mean, just like old school,
because those were
40s
kind of the
50s,
early
like sci-fi.
those are the early sci-fi mags and kind of the early horror mags, because I mean you find those in there.
I'll have to show off some of those on the podcast once. I still have some of those. Yeah, they're pretty cool too.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
We'll have to do an episode of like showing off our favorite comic book, because I got a pretty huge collection.
Oh, I have a huge collection of comic books, definitely. Yeah.
Like nowadays, though, so many more of mine are just digital, though. But I want to try to get back into collecting physical, but just got kind of expensive. I don't have a lot of hand,
but
just keep buying all those.
No, I have a lot of old stuff from like the 60s and 70s though. I could show off. Those pretty cool. And again, it's not like I'm trying to. They're not in like they all have brown pages. I mean, they've been exposed over the years. So, like I'm not trying to sell them or anything. They're just mine. Like they're just ones I just have. So like I'm not trying to. I need to get this graded. Like whatever. I don't need any of that. Like I just keep them as cool. Like I have the original like Star Wars comics from like the 70s. And
I have Star Wars #1, for instance.
I have 2 through 5.
Well, that's fucking awesome.
I got Star Wars #1, and then when they did the reprint, when they started coming out with the new series, I started collecting the Star Wars and all the Darth Vader ones. So, and they have some pretty cool cover art too, like some really unique stuff. So yeah,
I have some Star Trek, like the Next Generation comics, which are cool, and all the covers of those are badass. Like because I'm a big Next Generation fan. Like I'll have to show some of those on the podcast. Yeah, for sure.
So if I can kind of segue and share something else,
okay? Yeah.
Okay. So Jordan was here when I got this item. Me and him, we literally watched the show Breaking Bad religiously. We even watched like a week. Like me and him would get together and like watch episodes of it together.
Yep.
And his house, hang out, do a meetup, hang out at his house, eat popcorn and pop whatever, and we'd watch.
Yep. It was a good time.
We watched the latest episode, and then of course, so Aaron Paul, is from Idaho, so he did a special showing of the second to last episode at our cool Egyptian theater here local. Yeah.
But like it was called like Ozymandias or Ozzy, something like that.
It's the one that's the one that what's his name directed, the guy who did The Last Jedi.
Yes.
Abram.
No, not J.J. Abrams. It was, Knives Out. What's his name? Ryan Johnson. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson.
Yeah. Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson directed that episode, which is oddly enough considered one of the best pieces of television that's ever been put together. Is that Ozymandias episode? Yeah. Because that's the one where Walt like kidnaps the kid at the end of the episode, right? Like they had the big blow up. Yeah. Like it's considered one of the best hours of television that's ever been put out there. Is that Ozymandias episode? Yeah.
Definitely.
So and they were doing a special giveaway at our local. Which, dude, if I'd thought about it, I'd have had you pull up these pictures so we could show them.
Yeah, right.
Of us actually dressed up. So if
we'll have to one of these days.
If I actually have the goatee trimmed up, I actually do a really good Heisenberg. Yeah. And so this is my hat, and so I won't really go there. Let's just take this out and.
Yeah.
You cut off.
I can't hear you anymore. Your sound's gone.
Can't hear you though. Your sound's gone.
I don't know if your sound got unplugged or something. Oh no, we can't hear you. We're gonna have to do a reset. But while you're doing that, I was gonna see if I could pull up any.
Yeah, your mic cut off.
Hey guys,
I can hear you now. Yeah,
I can hear you now.
yeah, we hear you.
So continue the story. So me and him dressed up, and we went to our local radio station, and we basically stood out there, tried to win tickets and everything. We weren't necessarily successful, so we decided to dress up and go down to the Egyptian Theater.
Well, we got on the radio, so that was kind of cool. I'm gonna actually be on the radio.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
we got to be on the radio because they saw us just like marching around the radio station in costume, trying to win tickets for like literally hours with like signs like this, like please give us tickets to Breaking Bad, like the premiere or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they put us on the radio, so that was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then we went down in person, and Aaron Paul showed up.
Yeah.
And so so not being shy, I stepped into the crowd, and Aaron Paul's got this big old bodyguard like near him.
Yeah.
This guy could probably like crush your neck with a bare hand. Okay. But I like stepped into the fray, you got the newspaper cameras and stuff. And I literally stepped in the fray and offered my hand out to Aaron Paul, and I said, "Hey Aaron, I'm a huge fan, could you please sign my hat for me?" And so yeah, there's like pictures in the newspaper, and like they have him signing my hat, and then with me getting a picture with him. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he was super nice.
This is my sign.
That's awesome that you made the newspaper and everything. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so the label here is signed by him. Yeah, but yep. So it's pretty damn awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And I know that was a random segue. It really wasn't in the books, but
there we go. No, you're totally fine.
Yeah.
But one of these days when I can track down those pictures, because I was trying to see if I could find them on my Facebook page really quick, but when I find them, I'll have to show them on maybe like another episode, or I may find them by the end of the episode. We'll see.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Nice. Well, for me, so like I'm a huge basketball fan, so we want to talk a little bit more about that. So like literally, like I'm the kind of a person that could watch NBA basketball all day, every day, from like morning till night. I could talk about it, and I'm trying to put together a tier ranker episode for like the greatest NBA players of all time. I'm just trying to get enough people together. And I found enough people that want to do it. I just been trying to coordinate schedules and that kind of thing. So like if I did
you got to hit up Hal Rudnick, right? Didn't he say he was a huge basketball fan?
Yeah.
Get Hal back on, bait him out with an NBA player of all time.
Yeah,
episode.
Right. So like. It was like Howell Rudnick is another guy from the community. Jacob Barber, I know he's a huge basketball fan. And then my brother, who's 3 years younger than me, he's a huge basketball fan, but he also has 4 kids, and he's like super busy all the time. So I can never coordinate everybody's schedules. But yeah. So I mentioned a little bit on the last episode that I'm a diehard Los Angeles Clippers fan. I should have worn my hat today to be able to talk about it, but for me, like I've always been a huge fan of like underdogs. So like the Clippers were just horrible for years and years and years. They're actually like widely known to be one of the worst sports franchises of all time, and so they consecutively like didn't make the playoffs. I think for like 15, 20 years, but now they're awesome. Like they actually got a good coach. They have some really amazing players. They got Kawhi Leonard. They got Paul George, PG-13, because he's number 13, and so those are a couple of my favorite players. And then also too, like I'm just a huge fan of any team from the West. So like I'm a little bit of a Utah Jazz fan. I used to live in Utah. I was actually born there. Then I'm also a Portland Trailblazers fan. And then recently I've been a huge Phoenix Suns fan because they just ousted the Lakers, which is the one team from the West I can't stand. So I'm
also the Phoenix
really happy
Suns
about
did
that.
oust the Lakers after all.
Yeah, they did. So they got rid of LeBron James and everything. They're gone. So
that's
now,
awesome.
Oh yeah, because there's all these memes right now about
LeBron.
About LeBron leaving without like shaking anybody's hand and just like heading back to the locker room, right? There's been
yeah.
I didn't hear about that. Damn.
Yeah. He just like was like a big sore loser about it, like a whiny baby about it.
Wow. So kind of
never really been a very good sport. Yeah, like
yeah.
Weird
I have a quick question for you, Jordan. It's basketball related. Sorry. What's the story behind why Seattle doesn't have a basketball team anymore? I know you live kind of in Washington State now.
Well, so basically, the way I heard it is that so they used to play in a Key Arena, so that arena is sponsored by a Key Bank, obviously, and they played there since like the 80s when they first became a team. It's the only place they ever played, and then that arena is so old that like it's kind of like falling like almost into disrepair, and so the owners of the team, when they went to the city to ask for the money to build them a new arena, he said, if you don't build us a new arena, I'm going to take the team somewhere else. So you got to find a way to make this happen. And so the city wouldn't pay for it originally, so they put it up to a vote for the public, so like everyone in the Seattle area, they could all vote if they wanted to have their tax dollars go towards this new arena, but nobody wanted to pay for it. They all voted no, and that was it. So he's like, all right, screw it, I'm going to go somewhere that actually cares about basketball a little more, and that will actually fund this arena. So they went down to Oklahoma City. So now the Oklahoma City Thunder is basically the same thing as the Seattle Sonics, but they just became OKC Thunder.
I only asked because there's this guy named Elias in the WWE a few years back, and you can look up the clip online. And when they were in Seattle for a show, and he was cutting a promo on the crowd, just like being a bad guy, and it was something about how like you fans like didn't give a shit about like losing your basketball team or something like that, and the crowd went nuclear on him for like literally 5 minutes. They booed him like 5 minutes straight, where they had to like him and the other guy in the ring, Kevin Steen, had to like improv for like 5 minutes, just being like, wow, they're really pissed off about that, aren't they? Like they're really bitter about it. Like a lot of the sports fans in Seattle are still like super bitter about losing their basketball team, I guess.
Yeah, because it is true, because they would have voted to fund the new arena, then they would have still had a basketball team. And if they would have cared about it that much more, then they would have been willing to put their tax money towards it. But they weren't willing to do it, but they're willing to fund like a however many $1 billion arena for the Seattle Seahawks, and also to do Safeco Field for the Seattle Mariners. Like both of them got brand new super nice arenas, but they wouldn't do it for the Sonics.
How about that?
But they do. I think I want to say that they still have a WNBA team, because they had a team for a long time called the Seattle Storm, but I'm not even sure if they're still a thing anymore, because I don't really watch women's basketball very much. But but yeah, that was a thing for a little while. But they do still have Key Arena, and they have really huge concerts there all the time. I actually used to have this job where it's set up for like big major concerts. Like I did like Garth Brooks, I did Metallica, I did Imagine Dragons, like Lady Gaga, like all these huge concerts, which we can talk about probably in another episode. But for some reason, the Key Arena was like some kind of private thing where they had all these huge singers and bands come, but they had their own crew, so I never got to set up anything at Key Arena. There's some kind of private thing, I guess. But basically any other huge arena in the Seattle area, I've set up for. Like I've done it at like Quest Field. I think that's what they call it now, or like CenturyLink, I think is what it is now for the Seattle Seahawks. And then the Mariners just changed it from Safeco to T-Mobile Park. But I set up for concerts there. I even set up for the Nitro Circus when they came there with like Travis Pastrana and all those guys. So that was cool. But getting back to basketball, so like some of my favorite players. So like back in in the 90s, I was a huge Utah Jazz fan. So I'm a huge fan of like John Stockton and Karl Malone. Those are like two of my favorite. I've actually met them. I've met the whole team from that. I have some basketball cards. They're actually signed. So I have one signed by John Stockton, and then I have one signed by like some of their other really big players. I never got one signed by Karl Malone because for whatever reason when they were signing autographs, Karl Malone just never came out. I don't know why, but I have basically all the rest of the team. But as far as like current players though, like some of my favorites. So like I'm a huge Giannis Antetokounmpo fan. I know he has a really hard to pronounce last name, but it's pronounced Antetokounmpo. So he's on the Milwaukee Bucks. He won the MVP last year, and there's actually a documentary out that was just released a few months back, which I haven't seen yet. I really want to see it. That like tells his life story of like growing up in Africa and like how he came over. Well, so like he lived in Africa. He also lived in Greece because he's originally from Greece, and then he came over to the United States. So that's out, and then also too, I'm a huge shoot. Now I'm having a little brain fart, so I got to look it up. I want to say he's one of my favorite players, and I'm going to brain fart on his name, the guy from the Portland Trailblazers, and I'm going to get roasted in the comments for it. But
Clyde Drexler?
No, like they're like current guy that's like.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like '90s guy.
This is definitely like nothing that I would add to this. Like,
I can only add to like '90s basketball. Anything after that, I just completely fell off. Like I watched a lot of basketball when I was a kid, but other than that, I'm not like a current NBA
So if
fan.
you guys do a greatest basketball players of all time, I will probably be like, okay.
Yeah, I'll be your Jordan. I'll be your co-host, but like unless it's like a '90s basketball player, I'll have no opinion whatsoever. I'll abstain, other than like voting S tier for Michael Jordan.
Or I can be there, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Like I'll obviously vote S tier for like Michael Jordan and those guys. I'm like
right. Yeah, right. All this
and that one
Chicago Bulls
douchebag with the colored hair should be in like
Rodman.
Like Rodman, the biggest douchebag on this earth, should be.
He's a solid player though. Like he's one of the best rebounders like ever played the game though. Like he's a great rebounder.
I don't care, dude.
Two NBA players who have been in wrestling. Your boy Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman had stints in WCW.
Yeah, right.
Really?
Yeah, Karl Malone tag teamed with Diamond Dallas Page against Hulk Hogan. They had main events. Like Dennis Rodman,
Weird.
Had matches with like Lex Luger. So they were both. He was in the NWO. Yeah, like it was ridiculous. Yeah, when they were doing all that stuff in the late '90s.
There's a famous story about Dennis Rodman where like literally they're like in the middle of the NBA playoffs, like going for a championship, and then like he just skipped one of the team's practices and went to some
Nitro
event.
Yeah, he went to Monday Nitro and he skipped it,
and
he got fined like $10,000 for not showing up to practice. To be
like he did
riding a limo with Hulk Hogan to Nitro. Yeah,
like he did a lot of crazy things. Like he skipped another practice and went off to Las Vegas and like partied with like Carmen Electra and stuff. It's just crazy. But the players that I was thinking of though, Damian Lillard from the Portland Trailblazers, also CJ McCollum, which are like they're the big duo over in Portland. And then also I want to give a little shout out to Devin Booker over in the on the Phoenix Suns. He's killing it. So I posted a little thing on my Facebook story. You can see it there. But he had 47 points and like I think it was like 18 rebounds in the game that eliminated LeBron James and the Lakers. Like,
wow.
Like he literally killed it, and there's some guy I never heard of too. Like I can't even think of his name. He's some foreign guy that had like 6 3-pointers in the fourth quarter alone, which is crazy. That kind of
hey, so this is kind of random, but I'm in the middle of doing the show. But my wife loves the Phoenix Suns. Okay.
Oh, nice.
And we're sitting there. We're out to eat dinner, summer anniversary at a Texas Roadhouse. And she's like glued to the TV. She's excited because the Phoenix Suns are taking on the Lakers. She's like, Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I hate the Lakers. Yep. So I'm literally just texting in the middle of the show to say, hey, the Phoenix Suns whooped up on
Oh yeah.
them.
Yeah,
They whooped up on the Lakers for sure, man. So, and also the Phoenix Suns haven't really done anything in the playoffs since like they had Charles Barkley like back in the '90s. So like they're actually been killing it lately. But I do want to mention my favorite player of all time. That's you'll see like his name in like a lot of my like online stuff. But my favorite player is Kevin Garnett. And I have this little plaque that I have hanging up in my room, but it's off camera. But it has one of his basketball cards. Cool. That has a little engraved thing, and then like the cool little like graphic of Kevin Garnett on the Celtics. And I really wanted to get one of him on the Minnesota Timberwolves because that's where it was a rookie. Like really the only way he could win a championship is he had to team up with Ray Allen and all those guys over on the Boston Celtics and like Paul Pierce and those guys. But he won a championship doing it. And like one of the reasons why I really like him is that he is a huge trash talker. Like he would talk trash like to like every single person, and like he would say crazy things. He would comment on, like people's mothers, like their like wives, and just say like I just effed your wife in the hotel room last night. She was a fun time or something like that. Just really get into their heads and stuff like that. So that was always fun. And then also too, like I just really like him because like he fought so hard to win a championship. And like I remember one of the interviews that he had right before one of the All-Star games he was in, we literally broke down in tears because he just kept fighting so hard. For years he had Stephon Marbury, was like one of the guys he was known to like be a duo with in Minnesota, but they couldn't win a championship. They kept making it to the playoffs. And it's like first round, second round, they'd always get eliminated. Like he just said that he was just tired of it. Like he's just tired of like working so hard, just like he had the Michael Jordan mentality where like he was the first one on the court, last one to leave. Like he would just be just grinding, and like they could never get it done. So eventually, unfortunately, he had to go to Boston. I wish that they could have won a championship with Minnesota, but it is what it is. And I brought up a few pictures here because he's one of my biggest influences. Some of him like is doing some trash talking. So he's doing that to Derek Fisher when he was on Indiana, because Derek Fisher was also a huge trash talker. And then just like some intense pictures of him. There's him on the T-Wolves.
So did you see the Adam Sandler movie Uncut Gems, Jordan?
Yeah, so like he was in the movie, yeah.
He's like a central part of that movie. It's like he's one of the main focuses, like him with that opal or whatever, the little gem that he gives him, and trying to get back like the whole movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was amazing.
I've never seen that movie.
No, I only brought it up because Kevin Garnett is literally like a supporting character in that movie, like playing himself, like where he's like Adam Sandler like sells him this opal he thinks has like magic powers and makes him play better, like the other thing when he has it on him.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Like he gets like super into it, and he like Adam like his character bases all of his bets on like whether or not he has that opal or whatever, like giving him powers to like win the basketball game and shit like that. So it's kind of an interesting, like it's basically like a subplot of the movie. Yeah.
I had no idea that that's actually what it was about. It looked weirdly like black and white and like uber artsy, so I was like, I'm gonna avoid that.
It's a super if you have anxiety, don't watch that movie because it will give you like uber anxiety, like the whole movie.
Really?
It's this guy because he keeps making these like terrible bets, and he just keeps like every time he gets ahead, he takes 10 steps back, making some dumb bet. Like it'll just give you anxiety. Just be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Like stop. It's one of those things. Yeah, like it's a good movie, but it will give you high anxiety.
Okay. Yeah, like it's just one like giant ball of tension, like the whole time you.
Yeah.
Like when I saw I was like gripping the armrest in the movie theater, like I literally had like claw marks by the end. I'm like what? Like, come on, man. yeah.
So, anyways, if you want to hear more basketball talk, the new podcast is called Nothing But Net with Jordan Anderson.
Yep,
and
right.
He'll
Exactly.
be talking basketball.
Yep.
It's literally just going to be him by himself.
Just him by himself, just ranting about basketball for an hour.
Because
I won't be able to contribute.
Show.
Yeah, I won't be able to contribute to that, and neither will Chris. It'll just be Jordan going live for an hour, just talking to himself about basketball.
But I'll get some guys.
Dude, he'll do different voices. Okay, be like, "Hi guys."
He'll do like the SNL thing with Jimmy Fallon, where he talks into a different microphone, doing a different voice. He'll be like, "And we're back. And what's with that guy in the corner? We're in the basket. What are you doing?"
Yeah. We always wanted to team up with like Matt Nost or something, because I know Matt Nost. He's a huge basketball fan. He has a podcast every Wednesday, so I always tune into that, and I'm always talking basketball with him. And I know that like Winston Marshall, he's a huge one, and then Jay Washington, he's a huge basketball fan. So like some of those guys would be fun to talk basketball with for sure.
Well, maybe you can try to bait some of those guys onto your basketball tier ranker, and just have a whole basketball people panel,
definitely
to talk greatest of all time. I'm sure they'd be interested. We've been trying to bait out I know George's been trying to bait out like Robert Meyer Burnett with like a James Bond episode, to like you try to get to their cores of like what they love and what they're passionate about.
I want to do a James Bond episode.
Yeah, for sure. Like.
Yes.
If we can get Robert Meyer Burnett or Mike Kalinowski or like Tim Franco, like any of those guys who love James Bond movies, like we'll try to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm a diehard James Bond fan, but I've probably only seen like maybe 10 of them, so like I need to go back and watch them more.
Every one of them.
I've seen all of them because I followed a podcast one time that did every single one of them, so I actually took the time to go through the whole series. And I've seen all of them. I like about half of them.
Yeah.
It's about kind of how it works out.
Yeah, some are a little cheesy, yeah.
They are, but still, dude, like Octopussy, like that.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Fights are
they're still fun.
amazing.
Yeah.
The gadgets are cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to kind of segue into the next topic. So I want to talk about some of our biggest influences. So I already mentioned one, so I'm not going to go back to Kevin Garnett anymore. I'll talk about some other ones, but your biggest influences could be like anyone from like some like other YouTubers. It could be family, friends, famous people, athletes, musicians. Just like anyone that you can think of that, like even authors. It can be like any of those guys who are like some of your biggest influences. But we'll throw it to you guys first. We'll start with Austin. Who are some of your like biggest influences? Really like inspires you in life? Just kind of. Just like people you look up to, like those type of people.
It's a strange question because I don't really have a lot of like people who have influenced me per se. Like I've always find that term like kind of weird. Like I've had people that are that I look at that are a little more famous that have interests as me or like when I was doing like video movie reviews. I mean, I looked up to guys like Stuckman or Jeremy Johns or John Canby or things like that. But like, I didn't consider them like, oh, they're so influential on my life. Like, not really. I mean, I don't know. Like, I have like favorite guys that I still look up to. Like one of my favorite podcasts these days. One of the first ones I really discovered was called Now Playing Podcast, and I caught them like literally a year when they're still around, but it was the first one I actively like donated to. Like I donated like $100 to them, and like after I don't know why I just did. Like I just loved it so much, and I actually got a personal email from like the host back going like, "This is like the first donation we've ever got. Like I'm truly touched that you like appreciate our podcast like that." Like I got this email, like really heartfelt email back from him. So
that's cool.
So yeah, I mean I have stuff like that, but I don't know if I have like people that influence me in my life. I don't know. It's a weird question, but I to me, not really. Yeah, not really. I'm just not wired. I'm not wired like that. I mean, I have people like look up to, or like people that I've enjoyed meeting or whatever. But I mean, I don't know.
Well, like you're huge into wrestling. Who are your favorite wrestlers like that you would like to watch?
I mean, I have like favorite wrestlers, but again, are they like influencer? Like, you know what I mean? They don't influence me. Like it's like just a name. Again, I had favorite referees that those referees I talked about that like when I got into it that I modeled myself after, that I tried to be kind of not mimic them, but like study them and look at them,
Yeah.
you know, to kind of see like how they did it and watch them and do their thing. But like, I don't know. Like, I have favorite wrestlers, but we'll talk about that some other time. I don't want to make it like a wrestling podcast.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
But you can move on to Chris. No, I'm good. I don't really have like influences per se. I don't think like not that I can think of.
Definitely. So I've got a couple. I mean,
Chris?
it sounds kind of cliche to say like my dad, but like definitely like there are things I definitely would never have done without my dad, like becoming an Eagle Scout. You know, my dad really like he really was active with Boy Scouts, kind of helped me and my brothers all become Eagle Scout, and kind of encouraged that. Was always active, going like on camping trips, and was always there to kind of push us because there are a lot of merit badges like a citizenship of the world, and there was like citizenship of the environment. I feel like somebody else is going to be like,
I remember all of those. Yeah,
badge, where you had to sit in the woods like for hours and hours and hours.
Yep.
Disturbing wildlife and like writing about what you saw. It was one of the most painful experiences of my life. But it was those and like I hated
of the world. I remember
basket weaving at
basket weaving. I remember all that stuff.
Basket weaving, Jesus.
Hated that shit. I mean, Scout camp. Yeah, sorry.
Did you ever go to Camp Morrison?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yep.
Dude, so
all those camps and stuff.
Camp Morrison and those ones are the reason why I hate Big Shot Coffee, I believe, or in a downtown Boise, because they serve like those watery eggs.
Yeah, the watery eggs that like taste like rubber duckies, like ground up rubber duckies. Oh yeah, this is the worst.
That's what they serve there, and
that's oddly specific.
They're known for
eggs that taste like rubber duckies. Oh my, what?
Yeah, like they're notoriously known for that.
They're so damn gross.
Camp,
and so but they have people lined up out the door, and my mom's like, well, you can get something else here, because they love it. Like my mom, my dad, my grandma, they all love it, and I'm like, this is disgusting. There's like nothing really on this menu that I like. I don't get it at all. Yeah.
One of these days I'll have to tell all my Camp Morrison stories, because like we have some crazy stories, because like our scout troop, like we just went there and we like took all the easiest merit badges. Or like the super fun ones. So like we did like shotgun shooting and like archery, and then we did like the basket weaving ones. We did some of those just so we could like pass off all the minimum requirements. And then like we did like so many things where like our troop like known to be the rebels of the camp. So we did so many things where we're like we'd mess with the other campers. We took a wasp nest and like threw it in someone else's tent, and then we would like skip all the like big things where you're supposed to have these like meetings and like prepare a skit. We would like screw that, so we just go into the showers and use up all the hot water before everyone else got to the showers, and then like we would like capsize people's canoes out on the lake. We do all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah.
Do you guys still have your like vests and your badges and stuff like that?
I do.
I have mine, but
it's probably packed up. I don't know where it is, but yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think mine's at my parents' house, but I do have the little case that the Eagle Scout Award comes in.
I do.
It comes like in a little velvet case that like opens up. But it's packed away in a little box.
I was going to demand that y'all wore it on a podcast. Where you're
if I knew where it was, I would absolutely wear it on a podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I actually gave mine to my younger brother, because all my siblings are Eagle Scouts. Except my sister, obviously. It's not a boy, but.
What do you mean? There's no genders in Scouts anymore, Jordan. Don't you know that?
Not anymore. Yeah.
Hey, were you in Boy Scouts, Austin?
No, I did a church thing that was similar called RAs, like Royal Ambassadors. It was like a church version of Scouts, but it didn't really mean anything. Like we just occasionally went camping, and like we would go camping in like a field or on a beach, like not even really in the woods. It's just kind of dumb.
My claim to fame, and this is a really stupid story to tell. Okay.
Yeah.
I hate Bill Clinton with a passion.
That's an awesome story to tell, you mean, right?
All right. So I hate Bill Clinton with a passion. Okay. We're at the Boy Scout Jamboree. Okay. So like one of my first memories is he came there to give a big speech, flew in and everything else. And so like my biggest memories are like him like coming out and
influenced the little boys everywhere.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
But so he shows up
I'm
to
wearing
give a
your
big
underwear.
speech, like everyone's all excited for this, and I'm like, I don't care. At this
Right.
point, like
I'd be the
he's
same way.
leaving, and so I
Like, oh,
I positioned myself like close enough to the outside row that if Bill Clinton passed, I could shake his hand. I spit on my hand,
really?
and just
You actually did.
reached out, grabbed his hand, and just
wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
But you have to know that, like, any president that does that, probably the first thing they do when they get on Air Force One is go right into the bathroom and wash their hands. Like, you have to know
absolutely.
what they do.
Can you imagine
Yeah,
how
'cause
many
you have
hands
to.
you're shaking? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely.
Well,
but it was my little moment of victory.
Yeah, right. Well, do you have any other big influences that you want to mention?
I mean, big influences. So as you know, with college, I graduated in 2017, but I struggled a lot with math and things like that. So at times, I think like, what am I doing? Am I really kind of just gonna give this up? I mean, because at both of my bachelors, I eventually got required me to get up to business, get up to calculus, which which no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't do it. And it's like,
calculus is
bullshit. Yeah,
but so I had an incredible teacher named Christy Sasushio, who really influenced me. She was a business professor, but with that being said, her door was always open. And she was always one of those people like you could go talk to. So there were many times where I went and talked to her and been like, "Hey, this is what's going on. Do I give it up?" She's like, "No, don't give it up. It's all right." There are a lot of people who've gone on to be like have successful careers, and they're not necessarily great at math.
Yeah,
So I eventually went on to graduate with a dual bachelor in business administration and human resource management, but it took me time.
Nice.
So that's probably one of my people that influenced me for sure.
That's good though, because
because
like a lot of college professors are like pretty strict, pretty hardcore. It's like either do the work and get it in and get it right, or that's it. They're just cutting it and try. So
I was very, very lucky to have some incredible professors at Boise State. One of them, I guess, people that sort of push you or influence you or encourage you. Definitely my wife. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but
that's so cliche, Chris. What are you doing?
Jeez, come on.
My wife influenced me. Like, get out of here, dude.
We've been together. We've been married for 5 years now.
My wife.
Coming up on June 16th.
My wife.
But we've been together for about 8 years, I believe. It could be longer.
Nice.
I feel like it's probably been that long. But like there were times where I'd be down there studying at a Boise State, and when I get studying, I don't want to stop, which is very detrimental. I'm not eating, I'm just studying. Which obviously at a certain point, you reach a point where there's a point of there's no winning. Okay, you're not learning anything at this point. You're just kind of staring at that paper, or working those problems, and they aren't saying it right. So I remember she would work at Subway, for instance, and then come down to Boise State and just kind of hang out, maybe read a book or do whatever, but kind of just be there with me, and and she'd encourage me and say, "Hey, go ahead and stop. Let's go ahead and eat some food." So that was pretty awesome.
You take a little break every once in a while, because if you do it too much, it can actually be almost bad for you, because you're
you can't be those World of Warcraft guys that forget to pee, or forget to eat, or just drink Red Bull all day.
I'm gonna name one more person.
People at Comic-Con that'll do that. They don't eat or pee.
Definitely is influential in my life, and he's kind of I think he's kind of directed. Actually, no, I got two more. Sorry. Yeah. So I worked at RC Willey for a time, and that job I worked back in the office, and part of that job we had to be upgrading, and it was kind of mundane. It was kind of boring at times. And it was kind of like it was hard not to kind of be just like humdrum, be like, oh, this sucks.
Right.
Like there was this guy I worked with named Lonnie Noble, who was just like always like overly like happy, be like, hey, how are you doing? Welcome to RC Willie. And you think like, okay, maybe it's not real, but it was genuine. He really like he really loved and cared about people and kind of like was like always put his like best foot forward. And I remember like one of these times that I'm up there and I'm kind of like, this kind of sucks. And he kind of stops and he says to me, Chris, why are you so down the mouth? You should be happy. You should be glad to be doing this. You know, so I think with that attitude in mind, like it's hard some days to wake up and be like, yes, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take on tomorrow. But like,
right. Yeah.
But like with that attitude, he kind of taught me. He's like, dude, just start out every day kind of with the mindset that it's, you know, yesterday may have sucked or yesterday may have been great, but tomorrow is a brand new day. You know, like start out with that positive attitude and then start your day and it'll be better. You know?
Yeah,
so that
sure.
sort of like has gone on to lead like there are so many people that are like, you're always so happy because I'm laughing and joking with customers like that. Like, but that all has to do with that 100%. You know, because it makes me happy.
Oh, nice.
You know, see other people smile. Sorry, Jordan. What?
Well, Chris, I was just gonna say that something that I've always admired about you as a friend. Like you're always super going, always upbeat, always happy. When we go out, like you're always making friends with random strangers or like just like striking up conversation. You're just super just like upbeat and that kind of. So like I've always appreciated that. So
definitely, buddy.
And I'm the cynical realist.
You're right.
So I have become like, I mean, working retail obviously kind of breaks your soul a little bit. You know, you're like, I hate about 80% of people. Okay, I'm not quite at 90%.
Well, here's what I've always said, Chris. I'm not a people person. I'm a persons person. So I like persons individually, not people. If that makes any sense.
That's a good way to look at it. I like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
If I know the person, I like people on an individual basis, but like people in general, like no, I'm not a fan.
It's a good way to put it. Like I'm the same way. I don't like huge crowds of people, or like having to be at like some party where I don't really know anybody. But like if it's individual people that I know kind of well, then I like individual
like some
people.
kind
of people I know well, I could be the life of the party. Like I can be hilarious and totally do
Otherwise,
that.
I'm like quiet, kind of like
why am I here?
I kind of just want to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, of course, as you said, I'm kind of outgoing. So once I get a little more comfortable, sure, I'll probably find someone to talk to. But in the beginning, no, I'm definitely. I may look like I'm like, yay, let's do this, but I'm definitely nervous inside.
Okay.
And so my last sort of influencer and sort of encourager is a good friend of mine, and also he's a local DJ named Randy Perkins. Works for 100.3 The X, and he also works for Albertsons. So like over the years, like I've now been with Albertsons now for 3 years, and it's like he was nothing but like encouraging and kind of like really nice and down to earth, you know. I mean, like me and my wife had a chance to go to lots of concerts, so we interact with them and know them, and he's always just been ridiculously nice and really down to earth. And it's like it shows me that, you know, you can be a good person and also be incredibly successful as well. As long as as long as you're kind to people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And he's always been
look at Mr. Rogers. He was
absolutely, but of course he battled his own personal demons, as we know from those shows and stuff like that. But yeah, and he's continued to be one of my biggest champions, I feel like. Yeah. So
nice.
I definitely appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are just a handful of people I kind of named.
Awesome. So so I'll just bring up a couple of mine really quick, but a lot of mine there's a lot more kind of famous people you'd probably recognize, but they're guys that I just kind of look up to the things that they're doing with their careers, and I kind of think like they're doing awesome things with their career. They're just living life to the fullest. They're just really killing it. They're just solid people, and like really big influences on me personally, because when I first got into doing YouTube, like one of the first people that I ever watched was John Campea, because he's one of the OGs in the space, and so I followed him, and like I remember he had an episode where he like literally he did a studio tour, and we broke down all the equipment that he's using. And actually, I told everybody what he uses for podcasting, and where you can go out and get it. And I thought that was really awesome, just because like for me, like I actually took all of his advice, and I bought most of the equipment that he recommended, actually. So like that actually really helped me out. So a few little pictures. You just have to ignore the guy in the way back, Andy, there. Like he's one of the weirdo guys. But also too, in the picture, you have John Schnepp. He's another huge influence.
John Schnepp is awesome.
Like he's so freaking funny, and I had a chance to meet him at a Comic-Con, which really sucks, because the computer that I had that had all my Comic-Con pictures from that year, the hard drive got corrupted. I still have it, and there's a small chance I might be able to recover some files from it, maybe from some like computer expert. So, is there anyone out there that might be watching that might be a computer expert that might be able to recover corrupted hard drives? Like, I could use the help if anyone ever thinks that they can. But then also Christian Harloff,
friend of the show. Howell Rudnick is in that picture. Friend of the show.
Yeah, right. Yep,
Wow.
friend of the show. Yep. Then we have Christian Harloff. He's another
hopefully
huge
future
influence.
guest Christian Harloff. Hopefully future guest.
Right.
At some point.
Yeah. So, but I do want to give a little shout out to Christian Harloff and Mark Ellis. They're huge influences of mine. Like I think what they're doing with the Schmodown is one of the most incredible things. They built this whole entire community together that like it's just amazing. I think without it, like I probably wouldn't be doing the YouTube stuff that I'm doing now. Maybe me and Austin wouldn't have even met and just the way that they do it, like they're so funny. They're just goofballs, and like they're just these like these two guys from the East Coast that like just like to be silly and just have a good time. But then they built something really incredible with the Schmodown. And I really feel like we haven't really even seen like the potential that the Schmodown has. And I think we're just seeing the very tip of the iceberg. Like I think that there's so much potential. Like that could be a legit sport actually featured on ESPN, I feel like, because I mean, you'll think that like poker on ESPN. I mean, you have a freaking spelling bee on the ESPN. I mean, why not have some movie trivia on ESPN? I mean, come on. I mean, I think that's like totally perfect for it. I wanted to bring just a little old school picture, because my favorite era of the Schmoes was when they did the Schmoes No Live show. That's my favorite era. So I go back and watch those episodes all the time.
I first really knew the Schmoes, by the way, from when they would come on Adam Carolla's podcast and do like movie discussions and stuff. They would actually like Carolla would bring them on and be like, "Oh, here's the Schmoes. It's Mark and Christian." They would bring them on around like either Oscar season, or they'd just bring them on like in the middle of the summer, talk about like summer movies or whatever, or whatever the case was. And then like that's kind of how I discovered them. And then I like would go over and watch their movie reviews, or and then obviously when they started. I watched like movie talk and stuff when they started the Schmodown. Like I was there day one, like from the Dan Murrell Campea first match. Like I was right there and watching them. And Mark's like super cool, by the way. I've met him like several times at several of the live shows that I've been to.
Oh, nice.
So I've been to a couple of Schmodown lives, and like even his one of his stand up shows. He actually did stand up in Jacksonville when I still lived in Jacksonville, but he was like the feature act under John Caparulo, and it was kind of cool because like he came out and there was a couple of Schmodown fans there, or at least a few people that knew him from that. And then after the show, he was cool enough to like a couple of us were waiting around for him, and it was just like 5 or 6 of us, and he like took the time to just like chat with us for like 15 minutes. He even did like a mini Schmodown with us that I won. So nice. like he did like awesome. A thing where he pulled up like a file on his phone of like, all right, now you guys can't go online and like spoil these, but like here's some questions that are gonna be on like an upcoming Schmodown, and like we just kind of like did a little mini thing like right there and there. Like that was a lot of fun. And
Dude, that's so cool.
To, like chat with us.
That's awesome.
So like he's as cool in real life as he is on there. And then like I've only had a few interactions with Christian, but like one of the funnier things was he was like I gave all the Schmodown guys like these luggage tags that I had handmade on a website, like these hard plastic ones, and I had them all custom made for everybody with their nicknames on them, and gave them at the show. And he was like,
awesome.
"Well, I'll shout you out on Twitter if you have Twitter," like Christian said. And I was like, "I don't do Twitter." And he's like, "You're a smart man."
Right.
Twitter is just like what it's become, basically. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, one of my favorite videos that they've ever made, like just doing like a movie review, but there's some movie that has Allison Doody in it, like that random actress, and like they start saying the word duty over again, and like they just start cracking up laughing, like to the point where they're just like crying laughing, like keep bringing up the word duty over and over.
It wasn't Last Crusade, was it? Because that's what she's best known for.
Oh yeah, might have been The Last Crusade, but I think it was one of her.
It had to be another movie. Yeah, like that's too old.
Yeah, like it's one of their more recent movies, or her more recent movies. But like I remember though, like they kept like talking about how the movie was a complete and total fart bomb, and like my favorite thing was always watching their after they'd seen a bad movie, they would like talk about how the movie stinks. Like the movie's it just stinks, and like they like it is garbage. So like they'd say all that stuff. So it's like that was always fun to watch.
And speaking of Schnepp, you got to look up his rant for Transformers: Age of Extinction because it's pretty legendary. It's like a 15-minute
good.
He went on the Schmo show and just did like he ran it for 15 minutes about how stupid that was the one with Mark Wahlberg, the Mark Wahlberg like Transformers movie, and just how stupid it was. Like just everything about it. Like for 15 minutes, they just like let him go, and Christian Harloff was like crying, laughing. Like by the end of it, just with Schnepp just going off on it. It's pretty legendary.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And John Schnett's like seriously one of the funniest human beings I've ever met before. Like I went to his panel where like he was just talking about like Metalocalypse and like Space Ghost Coast to Coast that he worked on, and then like he was talking a little bit about Collider and some of those things, and like he was just so funny, I remember that I had my buddy Mark with me.
We're talking about Collider.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my favorite people. So he comes on as a like regular, and he also is a podcast executive producer of Tech Stuff and the Large Neuron Collider. His name is Jonathan Strickland. Does that run a bell at all?
No.
He's
I don't
an
know.
awesome like show regular on an amazing show called Ridiculous History. Plays like
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, must be one of their like regular guests that they have.
I don't watch it as much anymore, except it like basically since they broke off like the movie talk thing, like in the heyday, you know, like once they kind of broke off and like just started doing all these random shows and basically when that whole thing happened where like the one guy like sold the company or whatever and like everybody just like either quit or kind of got fired, like I kind of stopped watching after that.
Yeah, same here. Like that really rubbed me the wrong way. The way that they like handled all that. So like one of my favorite things, I guess to watch that like Mark guy. Like, I think his name's Mark or something. But like they like put him on
Fernandez guy or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, like they would put him on these random shows and just like roast him. You could see him just like sweating bullets, and he was so nervous to like talk about all this stuff. But like he would go and he would talk about it though. Like he wasn't that nervous apparently, but he sure looked nervous on camera though. Like like oh shoot, like I really screwed the pooch on this one kind of thing. But
well, and it's funny because ever since then, I know it's like a side tangent, but ever since then, that channel has done like nothing. You know, ever since they lost those guys. And he's like, oh, we got all these big plans. We're going to do all this, like, because all they were doing was just this little trendy thing where they're like, oh, we're going to do, like, the deep fake videos, or we're just going to find some trendy thing to do. And, like, ever since, like, they lost all those people who were doing all that content for them, like, that channel is in the absolute crapper. Like, nobody cares anymore. Like, I might still be subscribed to it, but they hardly put out any content at all. Like, the only thing I ever see on there, like that pops up like once a week is Haley and Perry's like horror show that pops up every now and then. And that's like it. Like they don't do anything else. Like I don't know, that channel's gonna be gone at some point. Like I have a feeling.
Yeah, right. Well, the whole entire focus is on like celebrity interviews. So they'll do like random celebrity interviews that'll pop up, or like there's like 4 or 5 the deep fake videos that went viral, but they haven't done any since. So like I don't really know what they're really doing over there. I don't know, but
it's a whole mess.
Yeah,
shit show.
But a few of my other biggest influences, though. So like one of my absolute favorite shows to watch, and he's one of my biggest influence because like I literally want to be this guy is Bear Grylls. So like Man vs. Wild. So like he just like he just goes out in the middle of like the like jungle with like nothing but a knife and like survives for like a week out in the middle of nowhere. And he finds his own food. He builds his own shelter. He does some really badass stuff that like
Jordan, can I bust
I really
your
wish I
bubble?
could do.
Or I don't know if I want to though. But
well, I know that he has like a camera crew and stuff.
He's like the fake survival guy. The real Survivor Man is Les Stroud, the guy who does Survivor Man.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Bear Grylls is like Hollywood Survivor guy who fakes everything.
But he knows how to do all this stuff though. Like
he knows, but like he's not actually surviving. Like he has a crew with him. He eats food. Like it was a whole thing where he filmed like a thing where he's like, you got to get over these cracks in the thing here. You got to jump over to survive. You got to get to the other side. And then like somebody went out there with their own camera, like a regular person, and filmed a thing. And they panned up to the left, and there was like a highway right there. Like it's fake. Dude. Like yeah, it's like right there. He was like right next to the highway.
Wasn't he British Special Forces too?
Yeah, he's legit. I'm not saying he's not like a legit dude, but I'm just saying his show is like so fake. Like that show is so bad. Like the real guy who does the real shit is Les Stroud, that guy who does that show Survivor Man, because he legit goes out there goes somewhere by himself, but he has his own camera. He just sets up on like a tripod. Like he doesn't have a camera crew. He just sets up like a GoPro on like a tripod, and he just wears like a GoPro like in front of it, or like one of those things that like extends out in front of you, and just films his face or whatever. And like, but he's legitimately by himself, and then they just edit all the footage together at the end.
Well, Bear Grylls though, like he's done different types of episodes. Like he's even shown how to survive like in a city that's been kind of bombed out from like some kind of nuclear disaster or like things like that. So he'll have episodes where he's near a highway just because that's where he has to film. But like he has legit episodes actually in the jungle, in like the Australian outback, in different places. But he has episodes where he's been near a highway, things like that. So it's a mix. I feel like he really knows his stuff, so like I would still consider him like a huge influence to me.
No, he's cool. Like I don't hate the guy. I hate how overproduced his show is. That's all it is. Like it's just overproduced, and like I wish it was more of like a survival show rather than him like just having a full there's like a full camera crew there and he's not in any kind of danger or anything. Like the Survivor Man dude is like legit. Like he legit goes out and like is surviving. Like that's just I just appreciate that a little more.
He doesn't have any personality. Like I think Bear Grylls just has the personality, I guess. So.
Right. No, I mean I've read one of his books. Like his books are good and stuff. You know what I mean? Like he has some good stuff. Like I'm not ragging on the guy. I'm more ragging about the show. The show. You know what I mean? That's all.
Yeah. But then another one though is rest in peace. But it's Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter. Like I always love him. Mm-hmm. Like I love everything that he did with like wrestling alligators and just picking up giant snakes. And he'd be like, "Crikey, we got a Sheila here. This is the most poisonous snake in the world." And then like he just have it crawling all over him. Like he get bit. Like and eventually he died from getting stung by a stingray. So it's just one of those things that was like some kind of freak accident. But like. And his kids are just following right in his footsteps.
It's awesome.
They're continuing on with the foundation with the Australia Zoo. They each have their own show, which is pretty cool. So yeah.
I worked at the movie theater when his movie came out. So
nice. I forget.
That's cool.
Collision Course.
Yeah, the Collision Course. It was a terrible movie, but like he's an awesome guy.
Yeah, it's a bad movie. No, it's just funny because the year I worked at the movie theater, I saw every single movie that came out. I saw every single movie, no matter if I was interested or not. So I just remember that one because like the only reason I even saw it was probably because it came out like the year I saw everything.
Right. But one of my other biggest influence, I got the shirt here, so I got the let's see. I think I want to say that I have like 5 Rhett and Link shirts, but this is one of them here. So I got them from the GMN. Just because like what they're doing with their show, so like I got a couple little pictures here. There's Rhett with this. It was like caveman hair that he's.
Oh, are those guys that have to see YouTube ads from like every 9 seconds? Because that's annoying.
I'm not sure. I never seen any YouTube ads from. Yeah,
I get YouTube ads from those guys.
I've never seen YouTube ads for them.
I
forget. I never.
No, but it's like them advertising stuff, and it was annoying because I was getting nothing but their ads for like a week.
Really? Well, like
yeah, it was. I
think my internet's cutting out.
Yeah, they're seriously hilarious.
You guys hear me?
I hear you, but
okay.
Austin just like froze again.
Oh.
He's a frozen face again.
Maybe it was Austin cutting out. I thought it was me, but like Rhett and Link though, like so like they're doing all the things that like I would love to do with this show. Like they're like trying out all these new foods, trying out like weird combination. They have their own personal chef that like went through culinary art school that can cook them all these different crazy foods from all over the world. They're like playing cool games. They're like making awesome music. They do sketch comedy. They've written like pilots for TV shows. And they're best friends. Like they're best friends. I think they said since third grade. I want to say, but like yeah. So like there's a really great chemistry that I feel like, and like every time, so like they've done shows to raise money for a charity, and like every time that they're so popular now that like every time that they do something like that they raise over $1 million every time. So like they're two guys that I look up to. One other channel I want to give a quick shout out to. So there's a channel that I watch that's called J Stu. They're called J Stu Studios, and they're a little lesser known, but they're these guys. So I'll bring up a little picture. So like this is for their live show that they're actually getting ready to do, but they're from Colorado, and they have these videos where they make forts everywhere. They just go around making forts. They go to like different stores. They own like a whole bunch of acres of land out in Colorado that they like build these like crazy like some like underground tunnels, all these like really cool forts, and like they're super positive. They're really uplifting. They're hilarious, hilariously funny. And they started out just doing YouTube pranks because that was like the big thing in like the mid 2000s and like kind of late 2000s, and they kind of transitioned into doing all these different forts and things. Now they're doing music, so that they just dropped an album this past Friday, so you can find it on Spotify if you just look at J Stu, so JSTU. So that's another one I want to give a shout out. And then a couple of quick ones. So like I'm a huge Theo Von fan. So like anyone who knows me, I love Theo Von. So I got to give a little shout out to my favorite comedian. And like dude, like he was just so funny. Like if you look up some of the like funniest moments from Theo Von, like man, I'm just crying laughing. And like one of the reasons why I really like him, they're super relatable. So like he's just this like Southern guy who like started doing comedy, but like we can tell that he's not the smartest guy in the world, but he makes it work. And like a lot of it is a bit of a character, but I kind of feel like that a lot of it's not. And so like I love watching him and then a couple other ones. I want to mention Conan. So like I'm a huge Conan O'Brien fan, like a massive one. So like out of any late night, like I love Conan. Like I think that he's so funny because like he'll just say it just like the most random things. Like he'll just have having like a normal conversation, but like he'll just say something that like for anybody else it wouldn't be funny at all. But like when he says it, it's just like laugh out loud hilarious, just like so is it funny. And my favorite thing that he does is a Conan Without Borders. So like when he like travels to other countries and like does these remotes on location. But like my favorite thing that he's ever done is back when he was hosting the Tonight Show. If you go back and watch the farewell speech that he gave, like that speech gives me chills every single time. And actually I put a link to it in the description. I actually wanted to play it on the podcast, but I was a little worried about the copyright of it also. So I just put a link in the description. But like basically, it's like he was promised to take over for the Tonight Show after Jay Leno left, and so he got to do it for about 6 months. But then they just took it away from him because he wasn't getting very good ratings or whatever. And then they made this this like crazy contract where they took this dream of the Tonight Show that he had and told him that he couldn't do it anymore. They were going to get someone else, and then also on top of that, he wasn't allowed to do late night TV for 2 years. So he had a 2-year break where legally he couldn't be on TV anywhere. And so the farewell speech that he gives, look, he could have been super pissed off, because if you look at Jay Leno, because actually that's what it was. Jay Leno took the show back for a little bit, and so Jay Leno was like super bitter, and like all the episodes near his the time of his final show, like he was just bashing NBC. He had horrible things to say. He was bashing all these other late night hosts. He got super just like upset all the time and said these horrible things. But like Conan never did. Like and also he never gets into politics. Like in his final speech, it's like actually super positive. Where he actually thanks NBC for the opportunity. He names all these people from the crew who had a huge influence on his life. And then he also says the number one thing that he hates is people that are cynical. Like he just like they never wants to be that way. He just wants to spread joy and happiness and comedy and positivity. And like he's like, even if we have to do the show from like a 7-Eleven parking lot, wherever we end up, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it awesome. We're gonna make it funny. We're gonna make it great. And so if you go back and watch the final speech from that, like for me, like it always gives me chills every time. So that link to that is in the description for this video. And then the very last person I'm gonna mention in the same way that Chris mentioned, I gotta give a shout out to my dad too. So this is a little picture of me and my dad. So he is a huge influence in my life. Like he just taught me so much. Like he's been there for me time and time and time again, and like some of the hardest times in my life. And like he's always willing to just drop everything for me, like no matter what it is, and even if it's super inconvenient for him. And he's taught me how to work hard. Like he's one of the chief financial guys over for Sensi, so like the little candle warmers, and like wickless candle warmers. The headquarters is in Idaho, so he does that, and so we always have those all over my.
So he runs the pyramid scheme that is Sensi.
It's not a pyramid scheme. It's awesome.
No, like they're legit products.
No, they're a multi-level marketing scheme. It's a pyramid.
No, they're
scheme.
not.
They're not a fake company.
Nope, not at all.
They're frequently mentioned in the Reddit MLM page. So
they're not. People have it confused though.
They're not.
Well, it's not like they support their consultants. Yeah. They lift them up and they make it so
local community and everything else too. Yeah.
So
they're literally the nicest people in the whole wide world. So whoever wrote that is absolutely full of shit.
Yeah, right. Because they
just the former employees, but okay.
Well, they make it so their employees can be successful, and if the employee isn't successful, then that's on them for not doing a good enough job. They're not marketing themselves right. But they make it so they want their product to be sold through the consultants, but it's not a pyramid scheme. The corporate doesn't get any kickback, any money from it, any of that kind of stuff. They get all their money from other means, but not from that. So they just support the consultants so they can build a business. It's like basically like it's about building and owning your own business essentially. So like they let them keep all the money. They don't take any money from that. But anyways though, like yeah. So like my dad, huge influence. Like he's got me out of some pretty sticky situations. Like I would not be here in Spokane without him. Like literally paying over $1,000 for a moving truck, driving from Boise across 2 snowy mountain passes to get to Seattle, and then driving 2 snowy mountain passes to get to Spokane, and then having to drive back to pick up his own car because it was cheaper that way for him to drive clear back to Seattle. So he did it that way. But like without him though, like we wouldn't have been able to move here. Like there's a lot of things in in my life that I probably wouldn't have been able to do. And so, yeah, I really owe him a lot. And also too, like, I'll just say, like, I'll just open up just a quick little bit. My parents are recently divorced. And so, like, for some reason, ever since the divorce happened, like I've never been closer with my dad than at this point in my life. And like he always says that the number one thing that's the most important thing to him in his life is his family, and like he wants to be there every single second that he possibly can. Every time that I come to visit, we're always up until 1-2 o'clock in the morning playing games. And like the last time that I went to visit, he stayed up and played a bunch of Super Mario games with me, some of the newer ones that like he hadn't played video games or really cared about him since he was a little kid, but he's willing to do it for me because that's something that I really love. So we stayed up doing that. So that was fun. So yeah, that's pretty much my list of my most influential people. So yeah, that's that. But on that note, since we're pushing the 2-hour mark, Austin, do you have a little game for us?
Yeah, so I've got some cards here with basically some kind of goofy, fun, silly, either like hypothetical or what if or would you rather type scenarios, just to get back to kind of the silliness and get away from us talking about family members and getting all dark and so let's throw all that out the window for this last thing, and let's get silly and let's get goofy. All right. Yeah. So let's have some fun.
Let's do it.
So I'll pose the question, and the question of the scenario. Well, there's nothing to win. I don't have anything to win in this one. There's not really a correct answer, but we'll see. But
so that's the kind of thing that I want.
You're going down.
I know, but it's not really like a game like the last podcast. It's just like it's fun. So yeah, that's fine. I have thought about some of these answers already, obviously, because I have the cards. So I'll go last. But if you want me to, or I can go first, whichever one you think is fine. But yeah, so here we go. I don't know. Since I kind of have already seen the questions, like, should I go first or last, like, to answer? I don't know.
You can go first just to kind of maybe like give us an example.
Maybe to give you guys a second to think about your answer, maybe I'll go first. Okay, and then I'll give you guys a second. Okay, so I've got several of these. So first one, if you had to win a game show to stay alive, what game show would you choose to be on if your life depended on it? So think about it for a second.
Yeah.
Now, I've thought about this. The one I would do, because I've worked at a grocery store for 15 years, I would be on Supermarket Sweep.
Oh, yeah.
Would be my grocery store.
There you go.
Because I think I would have a distinct advantage knowing prices of items in the part where they have to do the little sweep around the store to get the most, to get the most amount of money possible, to ring up. I would know exactly what the most expensive stuff in the store is, and the little clues thing at the end, about product names or brand names. I think I'd be good at that. I think my real job would give me an advantage in something like a Supermarket Sweep. So that's my answer. I would put my life on the line for Supermarket Sweep. So what would you guys say?
Well, for me, like, mine would definitely have to be probably Wheel of Fortune, just because like I've always been, for whatever reason, just really good at solving those puzzles. And usually whenever I go to some type of arcade area, whenever they have the Wheel of Fortune game, I always win a crap ton of tickets because every time I can guess the puzzles really super well. And also me and my wife both like both of us we're just super good at that game. We used to each have the mobile game, and we'd battle each other in Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, I'd definitely go with Wheel of Fortune.
Put your life on the line for Wheel of Fortune. All right. Now, Chris, what do you think you could conquer to save your own life? Which game show?
That's tough. I mean,
my backup was The Price is Right, just because they deal with a lot of grocery prices and things too.
Oh yeah.
I think kind of as like the sub thing to get to the prize. A lot of them are like, oh, pick the prices from lowest to things like that.
So I think what I would want to do is, yes, it looks very, very difficult, but I would pursue, well, of course, it's a goal of mine to get in better shape anyways, but is to work out and do American Ninja Warrior.
That'd be awesome.
Really? With your life on the line?
Yes,
Ninja
my
Warrior?
life on the line. Yep.
Your
That's
life
a
on the
risky
line,
one.
huh? You
That's a risky one because one slip
risky.
and you're in the water. And in this case scenario, if you were in that scenario, let's just say like instead of water, they had like boiling acid. So if you fell, you die.
All right. Well, I want to go out with a bang. So yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's one way to approach it.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, deal or no deal, but there's too much random chance in that.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like,
I wouldn't want to go for a game that's like purely on chance, like it's like 50-50 on chance, like that, or press your luck or something. Like it's too much chance involved. I picked one that I think my skill set would work towards to save my life.
Yeah.
So that's what I would go for. All right. Nice. So anyways, all right. So next one is if you could put any franchise restaurant in your house, what would it be? Much like Richie Rich had a McDonald's in his mansion. If you could have some kind of restaurant or fast food place in your house, what would you pick? And for me, I would probably do either Chick-fil-A or Taco Bell because either one of those I could probably eat almost every day and I'd be good.
Yep, we're on the same page. Like I'd probably say the same exact thing, either Chick-fil-A or Taco Bell. Probably a slight edge to Chick-fil-A. Like I love me some Chick-fil-A, so yeah.
Yeah.
And also, you get the people saying "my pleasure" all the time. That's like always like a bright new day, right?
My pleasure, my pleasure. The robotic my pleasure.
That's tough. I mean, let's see. So you could get a restaurant in your house too, if you wanted to.
It could be it just has to be a franchise, but yes, it could be you could put a Texas Roadhouse in your house because that is a franchise. Okay, so you could have like a crazy steak every night for dinner or something like that, or their fries or rolls or whatever. Okay.
Actually, dude, I'm gonna go Chick-fil-A. I'm gonna follow you guys in your footsteps and do Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
No, actually, I want to do Corona Village because I love Mexican food, and they have hands down the best Mexican food.
This is a franchise, but it's like a local Idaho one.
Dang it. Okay. God, this is really tough, actually. Like I love.
You can count it if you want. I mean, we have three.
If they have more than one location, technically it's a franchise. So
yeah, they have three,
even if it's a local franchise.
I'm gonna go with Chick-fil-A and copy you guys because I love that place so much.
Okay.
They seriously have such bomb food and like their frozen lemonade is unbelievable and they have the best shakes.
Yep, they got good shakes
too.
Yep.
There you go. All right, so here's a fun one. What president throughout history, all of history, would you think would be the best in a Air Force One type situation to save your life?
That's a good.
Now, I did my research on this one, so I can give my answer or two first if you guys want to.
Definitely not Trump. We'll say that.
No, not Trump. He would have a big mouth, but like I don't think he could physically do anything and save my life in a die-hard type situation. I feel like for this one. I feel like for this one, you have to go old school to some of the old school guys who were had military experience. So to me, when I was kind of looking up a few of those guys, I actually found a list of 8 of the most badass real life presidents. So there were guys like Andrew Jackson, who was the guy who dueled everybody. So he at least knows how to use a gun and would probably fight anybody. Guys like Ulysses S. Grant, who was a general in the Civil War. I feel like you go some of those guys that have that came from military into politics. Who were generals in different wars and who at least have some combat experience. I feel like you go to that, or even I read there's a guy named Zachary Taylor who was our president who was a super badass military guy too, or even Teddy Roosevelt who did a lot of hunting and somebody who could handle themselves. Because I feel like anybody in the last 50 or 60 years they're all just politicians. I don't trust them in a fight to fight for my rely on them for my survival. But maybe you guys are different.
Yeah.
I would have to go with George Washington. And
he was a Revolutionary War general, so he's probably a badass.
Well, and also I'm going to base this off of. So I read there's an amazing book about him, the Unfathomable. My gosh, it's literally one of my favorite George Washington. But it's he had so much experience with navigation. He taught himself how to farm. He read a lot. I mean, he was unbelievable planting. He just was a genius.
Yeah,
for
right.
that reason, and I feel like so he was also a general too. But I feel like he'd be a good strategist and like be able to talk his way out of that. Yeah.
I think I'd have to go with probably Theodore Roosevelt because like he was just like hunter guy that would like always have a gun or like really know how to use it well. And like I almost want to say it. Can I go with Robin Williams as Theodore Roosevelt in The Night at the Museum?
Oh, sure.
Right?
It was that version.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Well, I mean, he was able to kind of like get everything back under control in the museum when it went into utter chaos. So I think he'd be able to handle like a crazy like situation. Yeah. So no, that's fine.
Definitely.
All right. So all right. So here's one that all right. So if you had to be in a war, if you actually got time traveled into a war, would you choose to do a Middle Age war, like in the Middle Ages, Revolutionary War, or World War One?
Oh shit.
So I've thought about this.
Three.
I would go Revolutionary War, just because I probably have the most chance of surviving that one. Because I feel like the Middle Ages is a lot of like swinging swords, which I'm not good at, and heavy swords and heavy armor, and also you have a good chance of dying of like some kind of disease in the middle of it.
Yep.
And then World War One was a lot of that trench stuff where you're just sitting in a trench for like 6 months at a time, and I think that would be horrible on your psyche. So Revolutionary War, I feel like it's at least like you're fighting the redcoats, you're fighting like a British. Like it's a clearly defined war, and like yes, you have like those crappy muskets, but you could also like be like just a strategist or something. I don't know. Like I feel like it'd be the most clear-cut one that at least you would have a chance of surviving. To me personally, but your answers might be different.
Right.
So I've always been fascinated by the Revolutionary War, but the Revolutionary War is also when like obviously I think most of all these wars we named, but like if you got shot with a musket, you were more than likely gonna die of like they were gonna have to remove like your limbs, like amputations. That's where all that shit started.
Yeah.
Revolutionary War. With that being
you have
said,
the BBs that spread everywhere.
But I feel like I could outrun a musket shot, or it wouldn't have very good range. Like I feel like I could hide and I'd be okay from a musket.
I would have to go with medieval war, definitely. Because I feel like I could train and learn how to carry a sword and anything else. Yeah, because obviously they're going to do battle strategy.
It's going to be a lot of hand-to-hand combat in the Middle Ages wars.
Hand-to-hand, I'm ready to take down my enemy because it's going to be
Jordan?
Yeah, for me, like I probably have to go with World War One just because you have all those trenches to be able to hide out in. So like a high chance for survival. Like you could just run into some little bunker that they have.
No, you get mustard gassed. You get gassed in those trenches, bro.
And
well,
you
still,
also had.
You could run for days in those trenches though, because like some of them are like huge, like that was it Sam Raimi that like did the like World War One movie recently? The like
no, not Sam Raimi. That was Sam Mendes. That'd be a whole different movie.
Mendes,
okay.
Whatever that piece.
One of those Sams.
1917.
But, yeah,
1917 was such a pile of shit.
No, what are you talking about? That was an incredible movie. That was like a near masterpiece of that movie.
Chris's bad taste hot take of the day.
Yeah, right. The bad
taste. Yeah. How dare they make a movie that was shot with all these incredible one-take sequences? Yeah, how dare they do that? That went on for like 45 minutes at a time.
But it's like they had trench foot. They had horrible disease in the trenches.
You would starve to death or just go crazy.
Starving to death.
But the trench is going forever, so there's a lot of possibilities. Like they just like
they don't go anywhere. Like you're not fighting. You're just sitting in there. Yeah, you're just sitting there. Like it's not even worse.
High chance for survival for me,
or something like that.
That's what I feel like. but yeah.
All right, you go ahead and get mustard gassed in the trench, and we'll actually fight and try to survive.
But yeah.
I'll just sit there with my gas mask on and just chill out.
All right.
As you get stabbed here.
So we'll move on. If you had to choose one meat to eat for the rest of your life, what do you eat?
Oh.
And I just go either steak. I go steak or ground beef because I could do the most with those.
I gotta go with ground beef.
Cow, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, cow.
For me, that it's either going to be a ground beef or chicken, maybe. I don't know. Like one of those, because I can do a lot with chicken too. So it's kind of
you could do breast or chicken wings or nuggets or you could have a little variety. But with ground beef,
like
I can still do like tacos.
You do skewers. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Probably ground beef. I think. Yeah, you could do.
All right.
Like
so, kind of coming off of Chris's yet another one of his hot takes. Are there any universally loved movies that you hate? I know there's a lot for Chris.
Oh God, wait.
2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah. Citizen Kane is one of the biggest piles of shit ever made.
It's like Titanic,
here's the thing, Chris. You have to recognize with stuff like Citizen Kane. But look. Here's the thing with that. It's not a pile of shit. It's just you don't enjoy it. Like, that movie was groundbreaking for how it was made at the time. Like, calling it a piece of shit is like extreme. Like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But you have to like. There's things where you have to recognize at least the technical prowess of it. You know what I mean?
And even loved like there's that awesome series on that a CNN did on the different eras of film called Movies. I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they cover that. And yes, they did talk about it. But it's like that movie is like on one of those like the greatest movies of all time lists. It is like, I just don't get it. Okay.
No, that's fine if you don't get it or you don't like it, but to call it like an outright piece of shit is kind of weird to me.
And No Country for Old Men was another one. Mystic River is another pile of shit. Yeah, fuck Mystic River. Fuck the Coen brothers too. All right, I'm sorry, the Coen brothers are the worst people in the world. Along with M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah, no.
Oh yeah, you don't like M. Night Shyamalan either.
After the Village. After the Village, at the end of that movie, I was just like, why? Why did I waste my time watching this movie?
Well, like M. Night Shyamalan, one of those directors that like either makes like a near masterpiece movie or like one of the worst movies in the history of cinema. So it's kind of like just weird like that.
But at the same time, I want to make this point about Shyamalan. All of his worst movies are movies that weren't his stories or his ideas. To be fair,
okay,
they were just ones where he was just directing somebody else's thing. Like if you think about
Avatar
or Avatar, like none of those were his.
In the Water.
So it was like when he was just like doing like director for hire stuff, and then when he came back with his own scripts and his own ideas with like The Visit and Split and Glasses, that like I enjoyed all those. So like it's one of those things.
I did too.
Hate those movies. Like, okay,
I think they're fine.
I liked. Unbreakable was decent, but I also saw way too many other things that I feel like Bruce Willis could have done with his abilities that he didn't do, and that's why I didn't like it.
But the point is that it's an origin story. That's the point, though. He's not going around like lifting cars because it's an origin story. He doesn't figure out what he has till halfway through the movie. He doesn't really do that much with it. It's about deconstructing, but it's about deconstructing the superhero. That's what it's about.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's an amazing movie.
anyways, we'll move on to another time. But for me, it's Blade Runner. But yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
Amazing.
Oh yeah,
such a good movie.
No, Blade Runner sucks. I freaking couldn't even finish the original.
I tried to finish it like 12 times, and I fall asleep every time watching. Every single time I fall asleep.
One of the most slow-moving, boring movies. They're not doing anything. He's like wandering around looking for these replicants, and like nothing happens. It's just like really, are we gonna get to the like climax of the movie or like anything interesting or action? No, it's not really that type of movie. So, but a couple more for me. So like, for me, I can't stand the movie Titanic. I think that movie is completely overrated. Like I don't even like the story. I appreciate what James Cameron did with the set pieces. Like the set pieces and the costumes are incredible. But besides that, though, the movie is just boring to me because we'll get the popular thing to say that there's enough room for Jack on that piece of wood at the end, but they let him go, and like everyone has these weird arguments of why.
No matter what you feel about Titanic. I feel like the last hour of that movie is a great piece of disaster cinema. Like that's a phenomenal disaster movie at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like the way it's staged, like the actual sinking and all that stuff is brilliantly done. Like it's really, really good. Like, I mean, you can hate the love story or whatever and all that stuff. Like I get that, but like I feel like if you just were to watch like the last hour of that movie as just a straight disaster movie, it's one of the best ones that's ever been done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a little bit of a hot take too. So like a movie that like I really like the way the main character looks, but like I tried watching it, I just couldn't get through it because the accents were just so thick. It was the movie Snatch. So like for whatever reason, like the accents are just so thick. I can't understand what like Jason Statham's saying, or like what like even Brad Pitt. Like I mean, I can't even understand like Sean Penn, like any of those guys. Like I'm just like,
you gotta watch that shit with the subtitles, son. Like I have to watch Letterkenny with the subtitles because those Canadian accents.
Well, that's like that was
no
one
clue
of
what
those
they're
movies
saying.
that I did not like the first watch through, and then I went through and watched those subtitles, and it made sense. Definitely.
But like,
all right.
But like Brad Pitt looks awesome though. Like the way that his character looks, I think looks cool. But I just can't understand it. What anyone's saying.
All right, well, here's the next scenario, and I thought about this one, so I'll go first, but I'll give you guys a second to think about it. Would you rather be stuck in Jurassic Park or Jumanji?
Oh.
And so I've thought about this. I would say Jurassic Park because I think Jumanji's a little more unpredictable and actively trying to kill you. Because in Jumanji, you've got like the hunter guy who's constantly, his only mission in life is to kill you. You got like those plants, those poison plants that are always trying to kill you. Those mosquitoes that'll like put you in a coma. You've got like lions, spiders. And you've got giant spiders. Like I think it's scarier. Like I wouldn't be able to sleep in Jumanji, but like Jurassic Park, I feel like it's really just an animal, or it's just an island with animals. Like at the base level, they're just animals. So like if you stay away from like the carnivore areas, you know, like their territories, you maybe set up shop like near a watering hole where all the herbivores stay that don't bother you, you know, they just eat plants and like they're just like big cows, like they're not interested in eating you. Or you could like stay near the coast, like near the ocean where the carnivores don't go, you know, maybe just like set up a shelter there. I feel like I'd have more of a chance of living a more peaceful existence with a slight chance of danger on Jurassic Park rather than an active place that's trying to kill me like Jumanji.
Yeah, like I would agree. Like I think there's a lot more chance for survival. There's a lot more a chance to probably escape, because with Jumanji you're like sucked into this game. How do you escape? How do you get out? I have no clue. It's like someone has to roll the dice and like get you out that way or something. You know, it's kind of like who knows when that's gonna happen. And then just kind of like you said, there's like so many little hiding places you could find. And also too, like if I'm gonna die, I'd much rather die by the hands of a T-Rex or getting my like head ripped off, because that's like a really badass way to go out. Like I'd be okay with that.
On the same note though, it's kind of negated by the fact that in Jumanji, Robin Williams as a kid survives like 30 years in Jumanji and figures it out. So he survived. Right. So like I guess there's a way to figure out how to live, but like at the same time, I don't think I want to live with that much anxiety for like 30 years, just to me. But
right.
Chris,
I gotta say this, okay? So having gone to like the Smithsonian for years as a kid, like the underwater is fucking terrifying, and like they have like recreations of like giant scorpions that are basically like the size of a small car. Okay, like these were legit creatures. Like so I don't care whether you're keeping to a cave. I don't care whether you're keeping to, like you said, a watering hole. There are going to be horrible mosquitoes. There are going to be horrible creatures that you're going to run into. You know, at the same time, yes, I get it. I love dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are amazing. Yep. With all that being
always
said,
vote for dinosaurs.
I would have to take my chance with Jumanji, because the way I look at it is, if somehow he survived, I think I could survive and figure it out too.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, some people survived from Jurassic Park. You got survivors.
Some people survived from Jurassic Park. I feel like Alan Grant, when they were kind of on the run, like he kind of figured out how to stay away from like all the carnivores, you know, with the kids. Like he kind of figured it out. Like he set up camp in like trees and stuff. He got up in that tree, like near the brontosauruses, because like they're not gonna, or whatever you call it,
But there's other creatures too in the wild.
Yeah, but they're not proven though. See, I'm talking about straight from Jurassic Park the movie. We don't see the other stuff. Like we only see the dinosaurs. Like you're talking about like ones that aren't proven to be in Jurassic Park specifically. You know what I mean?
True. Yep.
Like I'm talking about things that are in the context of the movie. Yeah, but they only made certain dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. Like the card's talking about just Jurassic, like the world of Jurassic Park. You see what I mean?
Sorry, I felt stupid.
You're talking about like dinosaurs in general. I'm talking about like literally the movie thing of like that island. So I don't know. To me, like we know about the ones that are in the movie. Like that's pretty much all. Anyways.
Okay, so I guess with that in mind, since I obviously read that wrong, I still would do. I would still go with Jumanji.
Jumanji.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
All right. That and I don't know like what there's to eat in Jumanji and stuff. Like I feel like on the island there's like fruit and stuff. Like I could fish and survive. I don't know. Like I don't know what's in Jumanji. Like you gotta find water. You gotta find all this stuff. Like I don't know where to go once I'm in Jumanji. I don't know. So anyway,
I need to find some like baby dinosaur eggs and crack them open. Have some eggs maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So this is kind of an obvious one, but if you were taken hostage 5 years ago, what would surprise you most about the world today?
Huh.
Well, I think because we're talking about, I guess, if 5 years ago would be 2016. I mean, the two most obvious things would be the fact that Donald Trump was president for 4 years would probably surprise somebody. If you like woke up 5 years later and found that out, like that would probably blow your mind. And then and the whole COVID thing, like the pandemic thing, would be like pretty, like to wake up and all of a sudden people are like wearing masks and shit, and like just everything's like there's not concerts going on, or like like if you woke up in the middle of that, like that'd be something. I think those are two of the most obvious things, but I could be missing some other obvious ones.
Yeah, like I can't really think of like too many. Like maybe like how obsessed people are with their phones. Everyone walks around and like stares at their phone literally everywhere that they go. But maybe 5 years ago they're still doing that. I don't know.
They're still doing that 5 years ago. I feel like because there were still iPhones and Galaxies.
Right.
Just maybe like all the how easy it is to do like what we're doing. Like how easy it is to do like a show with somebody online, because they've really developed that within 5 years, like that you couldn't really do, because whenever you would have people, whenever you'd have people on a show or something, they'd be like calling into it like on a phone, but now we can like do it on a screen.
Well, that's like,
it sounds better.
Probably one of the things that would surprise me is how like in other words, like let's say I owe or I want to give my buddy $5, okay? Or buy lunch or whatever. I can literally cash out my friend or Venmo or anything like that.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
To me. Yeah.
Well, like even like Bitcoin, how like Bitcoin's such a thing now that like people have this like cryptocurrency. Like I'd be like, what the heck is that? Like I have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, I still have no idea, and I'm living in the same time as it.
Yeah. So what character would you love to beat the ever-loving shit out of? What fictional character would you love to beat the shit out of? And going to be from any medium that's fiction. So movie, TV show, video game, whatever. I mean, I didn't really watch the show that much, but I beat the shit out of that Joffrey kid from Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, from Game of Thrones.
Take that kid into a room and beat the shit out of him.
God, that's tough. I mean,
one of the ones I kind of go through. So like I don't really love the movie per se. But in the Third Chronicles of Narnia, you had that like Edmund kid who was like the like cousin who's always making like annoying remarks and always being like a little, I don't know, just really trying to mess with them and like being really like sarcastic all the time and stuff. You just annoy the hell out of me.
I hate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't mean. I alluded to it when we did our DiCaprio episode, Jordan, of tier wrecker fights. But sadly, I'd beat the shit out of Gilbert Grape, like Johnny Depp did, kind of.
Yeah.
I probably would.
So I hated Great Expectations. The woman who runs that house is an absolute witch. I would absolutely beat the shit out of her. I would also beat the shit out of Dolores Claiborne, who basically was like the biggest witch on this earth. Who like basically
like in the movie, like Kathy Bates' character.
Yeah,
and
she basically shit the bed and made her life a living hell. Yeah, I would throw her down a set of stairs too.
Okay.
Yeah. Or like, what about like from a movie that I watched recently? So I just watched the movie Day of the Dead. There's the guy that's like the head of the like the rebel guys who. It's like always trying to shoot everyone. Yeah, like he was a freaking douchebag. I freaking hated that guy. Like, I'd beat the shit out of him if I could.
Well,
Merle
did his job.
Merle from Walking Dead. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would absolutely.
Okay. Oh yeah, Merle. Yes.
I
would agree with that one. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And Gus Fring. I would kick the shit out of him too.
Oh yeah. Right.
All right. So if you had a TV that could only be stuck on one channel for the rest of your life, what channel would you stick it on? And every time you turn it on, it was just one channel.
Ooh, this one's tough.
Yeah.
You have to be like.
So when I thought about it, I just would want it to be like a decent movie channel, like probably like HBO or Stars or something, or Cinemax or something, just so at least I'd get like some movies, because I don't care about live sports. It's like it wouldn't be like ESPN for me. Like I wouldn't care. But like Jordan, you might have to do like a sports channel so you can watch your basketball or something. I don't know.
Well, probably for me, like I actually have to pick TNT because they have a mix. They have like Inside the NBA with like Charles Barkley and all those guys, but then they also have some movies from time to time. They have some comedy. They have some dramas. Like I'd pick TNT probably. That's my go-to.
I would go with the Turner Classic Movie Channel.
Even
though it's kind of like morphed and become like they show newer movies, which is just weird to me. But I do kind of like the classic.
But they still do like a lot of those weekends where they'll show like all old stuff, like all weekend or whatever, you know, like
so you get a wide mix.
Yeah. But you would, you would dig that. Okay, fair enough. What TV show could you take a college course on and guaranteed you would get an A?
For me, it's got to be Seinfeld.
Seinfeld for me.
Seinfeld, I think
100%.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, Seinfeld for me.
I can quote that movie backwards and front. I mean, a TV show. I have to pick that.
1966 Batman. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Or maybe for me, I would also maybe say Boy Meets World because I've seen that series all the way through like 5 times. So.
Or Quantum Leap for me. Absolutely.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. If you had to eat one human body part, what would you eat to survive?
Don't say the penis. Don't say it.
Close. I was gonna say I would eat somebody. I would cook somebody's ass because it's all like blubber and just like fat, and I don't think it would be that disgusting. It wouldn't be like disgusting like eating somebody's arm or like their organs or something. It'd just be like eating gristle from a steak or something to me.
People actually do eat it as actual food. So like I have to go with liver. Like even though liver's nasty, I don't like liver, but like it can sustain you. So I have to go with liver. Make a little liver and onions, but I guess you can't have onions. You just have to have straight liver. But, yeah.
I'd probably eat someone's arm because I feel like that would like sustain me. Like you plenty of meat on there, you cook it up over a fire, and be good to go.
Depends on the person's body size that you're eating. Like how big is the person you're eating? Like as to what you actually eat on them. I don't know.
I want to be a small child.
Someone's like a muscular person, you know?
Yeah.
Like someone that works out all the time, so they got big biceps. Yeah.
And you could use the arm to kind of smack people around when they try and steal your food.
Yeah, so it's a weapon too afterwards.
Right.
Okay.
You can smack them with it.
All right. How long do you personally think you could last on the run if you robbed a bank? Before getting caught.
I feel like I could last pretty long. Like I feel like I'd be pretty good at like hiding, and like I don't want to give too much away, but when I was young and dumb, I actually have a couple of petty thefts from like when I was 18, 19 years old on my record. So I know how they deal with that kind of stuff, and I know like the kind of things that like you should do and you shouldn't do to get away with that kind of stuff. So I could probably do it. I feel like.
I don't know. I don't have any experience in that area, but I do feel like if I absolutely had to, I could drop everything. And like the Pisgah Forest, which is like the entrance to the mountains, is like 10 minutes from me. So I feel like I could just run into the forest and like just hide out for a while. And I don't think anybody would really find me. But you have to ditch all your stuff because you can't bring your cell phone with you or anything, or anything that would let people know where you were.
Yeah, right.
But still, like, I don't know how long I could actually live out there and survive. So I'll say like a week, maybe a week.
Yeah.
And then probably
so the question was like if you robbed a bank and were on the run, how long do you survive?
How long do you think you could avoid custody? We'll say.
I would say like depending on a crime, like for instance, you robbed the bank, you got everyone on you. So I don't think very long. I mean, unless you happen to be Who's that famous bank robber that jumped out of a plane? Everyone thought that he.
D something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
DB Cooper.
DB Cooper.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's difficult because I
Without a
almost
paddle
want to
when
say
they're looking for the
maybe I
the
could
treasure
survive
DB
for a
Cooper.
long time. You know, like get a different haircut. You know, change my eye color. Burn my fingertips off so they don't show any kind of like prints.
Yeah.
But it better be a hell of a robbery for you to do all that. Like you better have gotten away with millions of dollars because like the average bank, if you rob it, you're only going to get like $3,000. So
it'd be like Breaking Bad, okay?
right.
Yeah.
And,
all right.
And also, just real quick, I thought another person that I'd really like to beat the hell out of. That would be Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter. Like I would beat the hell out of her. I can't stand her. So, anyways,
I would beat the hell out of their dad, Harry Potter's dad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, this is a silly one. All right, if you were in an open field, like let's say you were on a football field, and you had an aluminum baseball bat as a weapon, how many 10-year-olds do you think you could beat up before they overtook you?
I mean, 10-year-olds. So they're like medium-sized children, something like that.
Yeah, so they're not like they haven't hit puberty yet. So I know some kids when they hit like 13, 14 get pretty big. You can get pretty big like middle school, high schoolers. But we're talking 10 years old, kind of pre-puberty. Like maybe they're like 4 feet tall, maybe like 80 pounds soaking wet. But like let's just say there's like a swarm of them. How many did you take out before they dogpiled you and took you over?
I go with a pretty high number. Like I'd probably go with at least like I don't know, like 40 probably. Like I feel like
I go like at least 30. I feel like but because I think I'd be fighting my own fatigue, like swinging the bat. So like I could take out like a couple of dozen, but I think I would get fatigued of like trying to swing the bat, or like I would. My swings are going to get less forceful over time. So like it's some of them I may miss and only hit like their arms or something instead of right in the head, like or they're gonna eventually get around you like a bunch of zombies and like you're only gonna be able to like hit them on top of the head.
Well, yeah, and I kind of like I also wanted initially to say, okay, I'm probably gonna be able to take out like 30 of them. So, but then like you got kids and they're pretty smart, they kind of work together. So I feel like I feel like they would try to figure out when you're gonna swing, and then you'd get a couple of them like one of them latches onto your neck and like bites your fucking throat out, and then
or a couple of them start going like biting your legs, trying to take you down, like while you're trying to hit some other ones, or like so they would figure it out to where like some of them might eventually like you take out a good wave of them, but then like some of them get in front of you, while the other ones would go behind you and sneak up behind you and try to like kick you in the legs. Yeah, like I mean. I don't think anybody could survive like more than like 50. I would say because they probably figure it out by then, and you get fatigued.
Yeah.
Like that reminds me of like that zombie movie with Lupita Nyong'o where they have to fight off all those zombie children or whatever. It was pretty funny.
Oh, you're talking with.
I forget what it's called.
Oh my gosh, I always wanted to see that movie too. It's also got the actor from.
I forget the other cast.
From flipping Lord of the Elijah Wood.
Oh, Cooties.
He's Cooties. He's a teacher.
Oh, you're thinking of Cooties? Yeah, that's another good one. But I was thinking
teachers.
of the one with Lupita Nyong'o that like she starts like swinging at a bunch of kids too. That's another one too. They got a couple of those like children zombie movies. Huh?
Yeah. All right. Now, in a similar vein, what do you think is the youngest age child that could beat you up?
Well, there's some legit kids that actually know like some martial arts and stuff too. Like so there's probably some pretty young ones that actually could do it. Like maybe even like a 9 or 10-year-old. Like I feel
it would have to be like an 11-year-old or something that is like a little bit taller. Like they've already hit puberty a little bit. Like, and it would have to be a kid that's already hit puberty. I feel like I could beat up any prepubescent kid. Like I could, because I weigh 200. I weigh 240 pounds. Like I think I could overtake any prepubescent kid and take him down. And the kid would either have to be really tall and lanky and know some kind of martial art, or or know some
Some
kind
of those kids are pretty
like,
quick though.
me.
Like they can be fast and go through your legs.
Yeah, but I feel like if I smother them or get a hold of them, like it's over. Like as soon as I get a hold of you, it's done.
If you've ever played Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you know there was the kids that were trapped in the house, and they basically snuck out and like took knives and stabbed that terrorist to death, the Russian guy. And
yeah,
it's
but
like,
we're talking about just hand to hand. Like we're not talking about weapons. Like hand to hand combat. Like beating you up, because it's about the question is about beating you up. Just I'm assuming with just bare fists and like.
I mean, they might have some martial arts.
10-year-old.
They might have some. Yeah, I
think that's about right.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter what martial art they have. Like I'm physically larger than them. If I grab a hold of them, it's over. Like I can throw them a good distance or just smother them. So like I have size on my side. You know what I mean? Like they would have to be like either taller than me or know something that could kick me quickly without me catching it. I don't know. Like to me, but anything pre like I think pre 12-year-old like I could take. But then once you get into like kids when they shoot up like near before they get into high school, I think I'd have more trouble. Right. So anyways, so let's see what else I got. All right. So are we all meat eaters here? Is anybody vegan?
No.
No.
I'd never be a vegan.
Okay.
You can pay me.
All right. All right. So this is a would you rather scenario in A and B. Would you rather A, have to piss sitting down for the rest of your life, or B, go vegan?
Oh, piss sitting down. That one's easy for me.
Sitting down.
Well, because I would just pretend like I was just taking a dump. Like,
Yeah, right.
You just go into the stall. Like, it's really not that big a deal.
Yep.
Just be like, all right, I got a quick one to squeeze off.
Yes.
Like, I don't really mind vegans, but when they force their like diet, like you go to like a family dinner and they're like, we made this vegan
chili
lasagna or like vegan chili or something like that. Yeah. And so they're like, you got to have some, like, it's really good. And like, I have an aunt like that. But like whenever she cooks for the family, we know it's always going to be vegan. So we always bring a little something extra that actually has real meat in it, so we don't have to eat that crap. So yeah.
So would you rather be hairless, completely hairless, all over your body, or never be able to cut your hair ever again?
I'd rather be hairless because.
Me too.
I'd rather be hairless.
Like for me, like I don't really like a lot of body hair anyways. Like it's a little known fact. Like so, like this is a little inside thing that I'm gonna share. But I do shave my legs from time to time. I don't do it all the time, but I do it sometimes. Like mostly during the summertime, just because it gets hot and like itchy and uncomfortable. So like I don't really like body hair.
I don't have any chest or back hair anyways. I only have leg and arm hair, and like I'd be okay if it was shaved off, you know what I mean? It wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, right.
And like I shave my head a lot anyways, so like that wouldn't bother me, or not having facial hair. The only thing that would be awkward with the hairless thing is not having eyebrows. That might weird people out.
Yeah.
Like that's literally the only one is like the hair I'd be concerned with. Or I guess technically you wouldn't have eyelashes either, because that's hair. Yeah. So like you wouldn't have eyelashes or eyebrows. But you know what? Like that would be the only thing like that would look awkward of you being completely hairless, I guess.
Right.
Gosh, that'd be kind of weird to be able to not cut your hair. Oh, God.
Yeah, that'd be weird. Yeah.
Well, you would. Yeah, I mean, you'd be like those people in like. I've seen people like that, like in India and stuff, who like never ever cut their hair, like any of their hair, like the beards or their hair, actual hair, and like it's just like I don't know how you survive. Like that'd be.
I get like unsanitary after a while. Like,
yeah, definitely. It'd be hard to do.
Yeah.
All right, so for $3,000, would you get your face? For $3,000, would you get your face photoshopped into a gay porn?
For $3,000, yeah, I'd do it.
No.
Photoshopped? I mean, yeah, like it's just like a Photoshop.
Like, well, here's the thing: how obviously photoshopped is it? Yeah. How obviously photoshopped would it look? Would it be like one of those deep fake things where it really looks like you, or would it be like a really cheap, like cardboard cutout Photoshop? Just like a static face.
I wouldn't mind about Photoshop, because I would just tell people it's just a Photoshop. But like obviously though, like I get a lot of crap, and they'd be like, "Yeah, right, you really did that or whatever." But still.
All right, and we'll wrap it up with this one because it may be the most awkward one. So here we go. All right, since we're getting near the 2.5 hour mark anyway. So, would you rather sit down and with your parents and watch every sexual encounter you've ever had on a big screen, or have to watch the sex tape of the night they conceived you?
Okay.
Now I thought about that. I thought about this one. So do you want me to give my answer first, and I'll let you guys think about it?
Sure.
Okay. I go with option B. I'll watch the sex tape of the night they conceived me, and I'll tell you why. Because 2 reasons. A, there's a chance it could be really, really short. Like there's always that chance where like maybe it only lasted like 3 minutes. You know, one of those sexual things. You know what I'm saying? Like once you're conceived, you're conceived. So it's not like it could be a quickie.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been like maybe they had a quickie somewhere and like I don't know, like but you have to imagine like it's filmed like a porno. Like that's the idea of the scenario. So like you get to see everything, but like it could be short. And B, I feel like I could at least goof on it a little bit. Like with part of it being short and just a one thing, I could goof on a little bit. Like maybe when it was over, I could be like, "There I go, bye." You know, that's me. That's me. Like I don't know. Like to me, that'd be better than having to watch like a sizzle reel. You know what I mean? Of all my stuff.
Yeah, right.
Friends. Like just to me, I don't know. I'd rather just do the one thing and get it over with. But that's just me. Maybe you guys are different.
Well, if you watch the video of your parents, they don't have to be in the room with you. You could just watch it on your own, right? So like that's a little less.
Oh, they're in the room with you. I'm pretty sure in this scenario.
I think in this scenario, you are all sitting there watching it. Yes, but you're sitting there like on a couch on a big screen watching either option A or option B. You're either watching all of your own sexual encounters or you're watching the night they conceived you.
Well, yeah, like I still go with option B, just because I feel like
it's a one and
overall.
Done.
Yeah, the one and done, like it could be like a little less awkward. I mean, not by much, but a little bit. And then like it could be short. You never know. So yeah, I'll just go with that.
I go with option B.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit down and watch myself like and doing things, and that's just like
no, I don't even want to watch myself do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it gets awkward even when I was with my parents like years ago. Like if we were watching a movie and there'd be like a sex scene, that gets awkward. Much less a sex scene starring myself. You know what I mean? That's all the main ones I picked out for tonight. So yeah, ended on an awkward one.
Yep.
To work.
All right. Well.
All right.
Well, I think on that note, we're gonna wrap it up.
All right, guys. It's been fun.
It sounds like my wife needs to head to bed anyways, but we're already past the 2 hour and 30 minute mark, so we're gonna wrap it up there. And that was a fun time, though. Yeah, we
absolutely.
We definitely shared some pretty interesting stuff. So we got some more topics coming at you next Friday. So you'll have to watch for that. So the goal of the podcast is we want to release every Friday. I'm going to shoot for 6 p.m. That's when I'm going to try to make it live. So we'll have it live every Friday at 6, and it'll be a premiere. So like it'll be like we're going to premiere it to where like if you want to jump in the chat, and if any of us want to jump on during that premiere, we can interact with the chat that way. So we'll definitely might show up from time to time. You never know. So that's
for sure.
That's what's going to be. And you can watch for in about 2 weeks from now, roughly. We're the podcast is going to start showing up on like iTunes and Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, all that fun stuff. So you can watch for the audio version, so you can listen to it in your car or just wherever you want to listen to it. So but this has been a great time. We'll just go around the horn. You can tell us where we can find you. I mean, even though it's going to be the same every week, we'll still do a little quick one. But Chris, where can we find you?
We can find me at. Gosh, I feel like this is always. Hold on. Instagram
Can you make a little banner?
Is Scott 1128.
Yep.
Twitter is.
There you go.
More often. Is at writer_84, and on Facebook under Chris Scott. Christopher Scott. And you can find me in the Movie Smowdown group too, because I'm a host there, for sure.
All right, awesome. And Austin, where can we find you?
Yeah, Movie Hero Pez is my personal Twitter, and then I run the Movie Hero 2121 official Twitter of the channel. And just reminding you guys to please, if you're enjoying any of our shows, whether it's this or Tier Ranker Fights or whatever it is, please subscribe and follow us and interact with us and hit that like button, please. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm always bad at promoting that, but be sure to hit the subscribe, the like button, comment below, and then definitely once the podcast goes on to all the audio places, Spotify and whatnot, then go in there and give us a little review. So coming up in about 2 weeks, will definitely really helps the channel out, and then you can find me all over the Movie Hero Network. We got a show this next upcoming Saturday that's going to be Tier Ranker Fights. We're going to be talking best and worst fictional vehicles. So you got vehicles from movies, TV, books, video games. We're going to have Jen Kemp and Liz Shannon Miller. Also, Malcolm Lay is going to join us. So we got some fun guests, and then of course the three of us will be there. So it should be an awesome time. And you can find us over in the Schmodown Friends and Family group that me and Chris are moderators of over there. So if you want to talk Schmodown, you can definitely do that. And if you have anything you want to promote, if you have a YouTube channel, if you have any special project that you're working on, you can post it to your heart's content over there. So
absolutely,
definitely do that. So yeah, but this has been great. So for Chris, for Austin, I have been Jordan Movie Hero Anderson. And we'll catch you guys next time.